Hello, hello, and welcome to Elite Week. I hope you guys are ready to party tonight because we have got a good fucking show set up for you. I can't wait. All right, so I am Kaizen. You all know me, and I think it's time to make this official. Also, we have with us, let's get our sound checks out of the way. Roy, say hello to the beautiful people.
Good evening, everyone. Glad to be back. Hope you're all having a good evening. Or morning.
All right. Yes. Happy time zone, wherever the fuck you are. And Arson on the tech. Say hello, Arson.
Good evening, everybody. It's good to be here as usual. Looking forward to the show. Hope you are too.
I hope that Arson's sound levels are good and you all can hear him because he literally just hit puberty in the middle of that sentence. Tweet, say hello to the beautiful people, and more especially, say hello to the boys from OPIX.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to October, and hello, everybody from OPIX that might be listening. Hope everybody's having a good time. I know we got some guys out at the new community gold pewing it up, and everybody's having a good time tonight.
Tweet is reaching out to the emo vampire fans among
Count
us.
Chocula in the house.
I heard that as well. Good evening. Yeah, right on. And we've got some awesome fucking guests with us tonight from the hand. These boys know how to give the smackdown to some bugs. Say hello to the people, Jan, Sir Liege. I'm going to call you Jan for the show if that works.
Yeah, absolutely. Hello, everyone. Happy 1 a.m. Europe. Happy hello, Thargoid hunters of the space.
Right on. And say hello also to Epic joining us. Hey, Epic, how you doing?
I'm not too bad. Thank you very much for having me, and hello to everyone. Thank you very much.
Beautiful. All right. So let's go ahead and start. Let's see sounds and read
I'm
through the
gonna
notes.
just do one quick little sound check real quick, see if I'm reasonable level for everybody else.
All right. So comment on that, and we'll get down to it. All right. Let's see here. We got JJG is first. Tex here. What up, Tex? How you doing, brother? It was good talking to you earlier today. Yeah, it was very, very kind words that you had. Thank you so much. We got Commander Single Malt Scotty in the house with the big 07. Tweet 74. Yo, Tex. All right. Let's see. Non-paradoxical time travel tonight. Absolutely. First off, let me just explain something to you, Tex, right off the bat. I am a time traveler. So are you. We are all time travelers. We just do it at a really unimpressive rate in one direction. Let's see here. We got Commander Abel Airy, 07 all. Hope everyone is having a great day. I hope you're having a great day too, Abel. You're a motherfucking beast on those running those missions and whatnot for the Dark Wheel. Nolan Sester, big hello. He's our regular sound check guy. He always lets us know what's up. I've had 2 pecan pie ciders. I have a glass of cab. And even if I was having a bad day, it's good now. Fuck yeah, Tex. That is legit. Arson Cross saying hi to the people. Wintermute. Hello, Wintermute. DH397. Big salute to you, sir. Quiz Engine. I'm surprised I'm still awake. I'm surprised you're still awake. It's after 1 o'clock in the fucking morning. You're ready to start your weekend with a party, I see. Let's see here. I'll probably miss the very beginning. Sadly, got to put Kirk to bed. No worries. You won't miss anything too exciting. It's all right. We're just doing sound checks and we'll play the song. We got Black Wolf Black Radio 07. Probably won't be on for long. YouTube artwork. Who is the Iron Man figure in the foreground? The Iron Man figure in the foreground, that's just a dude in this flight suit, but it gives nice shadows or whatever. And that artwork actually comes from Frontier's art department. I could see that, though it's some new power play. Thought it was some power play dude. No, it's just the same regular guy. That's old Greg. You ever drink, what is it? You ever drink fucking something from a shoe? I'm old Greg. Yuna Sakashiro, hello, big salute. Harry Knights, have a good show, gentlemen. And you too, Kai. Black will hope everybody is a bag of spicy gourd rinds nearby. Yes. Munching on barbecue gourd rinds. Made fresh from the caustic cloud. Mine are salted, roasted with a hint of onion head. Yo, that's what's up. I'll give some of mine if you give me some of yours. Swapsies. All right, let's see here. Glass of Glen Morangi. Right on. If it's not Scottish, it's crap. We got Load 200. It's going to be the first time listening live. Been looking forward to this all week long. Thank you so much, brother. Welcome to the party. I hope you come back every week, or at least plenty of weeks, and pour yourself a nice stiff drink. We got Gyarados saying hi. What's up, Gyarados? The twos. Do you stick your pinky out too? Fuck yeah, I do. Right when I'm drinking Jameson's. Broken Juan. Big salute, sir. SP4H07. 07 to you, sir. Let's see here. Galagachamp. How you doing, brother? Kai sounds good. Roy sounds good. 07 to all. There's that silly voice. All right. Silky voice. Whatever. Both work. Arson's a little quiet. Okay, but I think they got a fake sound cleared. Tweaked fine. Opix in the house. All right. Let's go hand. That's true. Arson sounds fine. Doing good, buddy. No problem. Let's go hand. That's true. All right. Congrats to mention the newsletter in 303. Thank you so much, Archer. That was good shit. Bailey's. Ooh, now I'm jealous. I was drinking Jameson's, then I went to vodka. But now I'm thinking Bailey sounds really nice. Haster the Unstoppable. I'll give you some onion head gummies if you want. Fuck yeah, I do, bro. Give me the gummy of death from LA Speedweed, where you just eat fucking the head and you're tripping balls. Yeah. The English Gen 07, it's been a while. Welcome back, sir. Good to see you. Frody131, hello. 4 English Lies 07 from Central Florida. Right on. All right. So, I think we got everybody on the hellos. I just want to thank you all for coming in and joining us live. I hope you have your drinks handy. I hope you smash that like button and hit the little bell and I don't know, all the things that do with stuff because reasons. But yeah, fucking A. I think we're good to go. Arson, why don't you kill the mics and start the show proper so these people can hear some silly shit from us.
Previously on Elite Week.
Sorry, I didn't mean to step on your, whatever that is.
Klaatu, Barada, Nikto.
Curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal.
Hello, hello, and welcome to Elite Week. This is episode 44, Friday, October 9th, 2020, Galactic Water Cooler Podcast with special guest, The Hand. I am Kai Zen, and I am feeling good tonight. I hope you're ready for a party. With me, as ever, my sidekick, Commander Roy Cookson. Say hello to the beautiful people, Roy.
Good evening, everyone. Glad to be back.
All right, I heard you do it upright as well. And on the tech, we've got Commander Arson Cross. Say hi.
Hello.
Woo! We got a hat trick. Can we go for the 4? We also have Commander Tweet74 representing OPIX in the house. Say hello, Tweet.
Happy Friday night, everybody. Sadly, I already made my Jack and Coke and have it sitting next to me, so I can't make the cool poppy sound that everybody else did, but I hope everybody's ready to have a good time tonight.
Hell yeah, it doesn't sound sad to me. It sounds like things are just where they need to be. Now, representing the hand tonight, we have Commander Epic. Say hello, Epic.
Hello. How's it going?
Fantastic, fantastic. And we've got Jan Sir Liege. Say hello to the beautiful people, Jan.
How's it going, everyone? Got a little ginger beer and rum here. I swear, I'll just really wet sip.
Yeah. That
You know
sounds
it's real.
legit.
You know it's real.
That sounds legit. Woo! All right. Now, let's start off and get some housekeeping out of the way. Right off the bat, the cover art today, I just named it myself. I call it Choose to go with the whole concept that Frontier went with for Dev Diary 2. That is concept art from the Frontier Development's concept art studio in-house that they did that when they, I think that was for the, when they put out that book, like Kickstarter times or whatever, when they first introduced Power Play, probably more so. Yeah. All right. The pre-stream countdown was courtesy of Commander Orange Phoenix. And the opening song was Faster Than Light by Miguel Johnson from his new album, Expedition Artemis. We'll be giving away a copy of that album tonight to one of you lucky listeners, viewers in the live e-studio audience. We also have, for a closing song tonight, we're going to have A Magical Journey Through Space by Leonell Cassio. Links to everything is in the show notes. Right off the bat, I want to say a huge congratulations to SpaceX for yet another successful launch this week. Everything is going well. I also want to give a huge congratulations to Frontier for being a finalist in DevelopStar's Best Studio of the Year award competition. Fantastic. They're up against Codemasters, Birmingham, Creative Assembly, Media Molecule, and Mediatonic. And I'm liking their chances. Frontier is just having a red letter. That means good, right? I'm not getting that phrase wrong. They're having like a red letter year. They're doing fantastic.
It is now, Kai.
Yeah, and I also want to say a huge thank you to Frontier. They gave us a very nice shout out in newsletter 303, which we're going to get to later on when we get to the Frontier section of the news. But man, that was super, super awesome. And a reminder to everyone, Elite Dangerous is on sale right now. $7.50 for the base pack or $12 for the deluxe edition. So for $12, for another, $4.50, you're getting the Horizons, which means you're getting like fucking 40 paint jobs for free come end of October when they roll that in. You're getting all of the extra stuff in the deluxe package. They give you like extra like decals and paint jobs and other shit already. But like, come on, man, $12 for the full game with everything, and you're going to get even more bonus shit here in a couple of weeks when they throw you all of the toothpaste paint jobs for free. That shit is legit. Get in on it while it lasts. All right, Arson, why don't you go ahead and hit our promo?
So if you're listening to us on the podcast and would like to see the live show and visuals, you can check us out at youtube.com/Elite Week. If you're watching us on YouTube and would like to know how to catch our podcast, check out anchor.fm/Elite Week. For sending us your thoughts by email, you can reach us at eliteweek3306@gmail.com. Our very active and growing Elite Week Discord can be found at tinyurl.com/Elite Week Discord, where you can check out our community feedback, resources on turning the wheel, and real-time updates about Elite from a variety of content creators. In addition to the Discord community feedback channel, feel free to write in our YouTube comments anything about the topic of the week, as well as anything else you'd like to share. We'd love to hear from you. Also on YouTube, please make sure to like and subscribe and click on the bell. It really helps us out. We record live on YouTube every Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, midnight UTC, so come and join in on the fun. If you're listening to us on the podcast, please make sure to rate and review us on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or whatever platform you use. And let us know if there's a format you want us to look into. We don't do Patreon, so save your money and just tell your friends about the show. Kai, you muted?
Absolutely, I was, because I've been drinking heavily, and that's how that goes. So we started this off.
Hashtag alcohol.
Yeah. So you know what? Speaking of alcohol, you know what goes really good with alcohol? I would love some really good spicy gourd rinds. How about y'all?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I might not have room for more.
Arson, why don't you tell the people about their spicy gourd rinds that we have on offer tonight?
Hungry? Want something in your mouth? Let the hand put it there. Check out our all-new gourd rinds, brought to you by The Hand. Available in your favorite flavors. Check out our mild mesquite marauder or mouth-watering Memphis barbecue Medusa. Want something that will make your eyes water? Our hot habanero hydra rinds will make your nose bleed from flavor. The Hand's gourd rinds are the snack you've been craving. Not available in all systems, terms, and conditions apply. See your local commodities market for details.
Absolutely. So go and get your gourd rinds. Get that shit while it's hot. All right. So yeah, that's right. We've got The Hand with us tonight. So some of you might be saying, well, what's The Hand? What's this all about? Well, The Hand are the guys that put the smack down on the bugs. So let me reintroduce. We've got Jan Sir Liege, who I'm going to call Jan for tonight, and we got Epic. Jan and Epic, why don't you tell us a little bit about The Hand, like your background, where you're from, the platforms that you're mostly represented on, and whatnot.
For sure. Thanks very much again, Kai, for welcoming us on the show and everyone for joining in. The Hand are primarily an Xbox-based AX faction, anti-Xeno. We play an open play. We encourage that dangerous aspect of Elite very much. So we're not shy of getting into a bit of trouble and just pretty much doing whatever. I mean, we don't mandate how our members kind of conduct themselves. So everyone's a free agent when they join us. And with regard to joining, it's really a path of, being serious enough about AX to go and really get your first solo interceptor kill. We really take pride on getting people to that moment. And it's really awesome to see someone come back, with that tangible progress of actually taking out their own interceptor. It's awesome. And just really taking them into wing fights from there. Like we love to really pride ourselves on wing engagement and getting everyone in on the hunt.
Mm-hmm.
So really specialize in that aspect of the game. And it's been a big pursuit of ours to kind of find ways that it works well, and it's really rewarding. Epic here is one of our great mentors. He, really trains people up, does a lot of hands-on training up with people. If you want to take them on that, Epic.
Yeah, like basically we help people get out of the guardian sites, unlock their guardian weapons and modules that they need to get into the AX zones or to defeat their first interceptor and take them out, show them the ropes, just help them out, do what we can for them and help them become a part of the group as well. Introduce them to everybody and wing up and just get into as much pandemonium as possible.
That's it.
Right
It's
on,
the
man.
winging up and pandemonium. That's really the
Yeah.
big thing. We love to just show people how to work together, like across multiple wings. Like when the AXCZs were around, we had to learn a lot really fast for anchoring an instance and getting as many people into it, making sure everyone has crimes off that's in the combat area. And like, yeah, really how that kind of coordination goes, you know?
Right on. Now, you guys, your PMF is based out of Krathaganet, right?
Yep.
And,
Correct.
And you guys actually have sort of an open house training grounds area where it's open to the public. People can come in and, you know, even if you're like, man, I really want to get into this stuff, but I have never once yet fought a Thargoid. I've just got myself to the point where I've mined up enough money that, you know, that I can kind of sit around and afford to, like, now what do I want to do? You can take people from very fresh, never having seen a Thargoid before, and walk them through the process and start them on the path of becoming an AX warrior. Yeah.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
that's the big thing as well, is really we've been kind of encouraging people to even join on multi-crew seats, like just hop into this ship. You know, if you've been considering a particular build, hop in with somebody, go out there and check it out. And to just really quickly blast it out there, I know you might think, but Jan, surely you will get instancing issues if you attempt to go out and multi-crew with AX combat. But we have recently discovered, for whatever reason, the Scout and Interceptor instances are actually very stable for the game's netcode. We're able to have up to 3 wings with multiple SLF and even people streaming while doing combat and not have any desync, server issues, AX bugs. It's really phenomenal, I have to say.
Wow, that's actually very impressive. I'm starting to wonder if maybe the Xbox side is a little more stable, because that is really nice.
I mean, I would be curious too. I've actually, you know, Elite goes on sale on PC a lot, and it's really phenomenal that the game's specs are so low. You know, I got quite a cheap machine, and I was amazed to see Elite can actually run on reasonably high settings. So I'm nearly AX ready, and I'd be entirely happy to show anyone who's willing to you know, try it out, see if these same methods work on PC for actually getting stable multiple commanders in an instance, nailing Thargoids, Hydra, multiple Goids in some instances as well, and not getting, you know, invincible heart bugs, because there's nothing worse than having to kill a heart 10 times.
I really like, you have a sort of a philosophy of, if you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. And I love that philosophy, because it's like, yeah, man, we're going to do a thing, but we're, you know, it's a serious thing, and we put serious effort into it, but we're having fun here, man. This is a game, and we're chilling.
Yeah.
I dig that.
Like, the thing that's kept us in the hand for nearly 2 years isn't the Thargoids, it's just each other. It's everyone else. It's the fun we have while we're doing it, and the laughs that we have, and like I said, just making it as chaotic as possible. And
so you guys coalesced into the Hand in 2018, but you've got members that have been going back from the very beginning of fighting the bugs. So why don't you tell me a little bit about your history within the Hand? I know that you guys scored a record-breaking point value or whatever during one of the seasons. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah.
15. Now, just to be clear, in case anybody misheard, he said 15 billion with a B points.
Yeah,
That shit's
15
legit.
billion.
Yeah, that's not million. That's fucking legit.
Yeah.
Certainly a lot of dead Thargoids.
And I know that there's not a whole lot of guys that can solo a Hydra. You've got one of them, yeah?
Yeah, that would be that would be me. Yeah, I managed to accomplish that last week.
Ooh, that shit
Second
is
person on
legit.
Xbox today, so apparently. So I'm told.
That shit's legit. All right, all right.
It was fucking hard. There were so
Yeah.
many rebuys.
It's
Okay.
actually, you know, in preparation for this, we were just discussing briefly with each other, like, you know, hey man, you know, grats, like we've pushed, not like, you know, we've encouraged each other to really push the limits of what we can do. For example, I was trying my first DUSA And I, was really struggling with getting that first heart. And I started just thinking, you know what? I'm just going to focus on nailing that heart. I'm going to ignore the swarm for the start. And I got the heart down without, taking much damage from the swarm. And I started to try it a little bit more and more. And then, pushing yourself out of your comfort zone like that naturally is a really great kind of, it's a really great thing, because that's literally what's pushed us out of our comfort zone out over the last 2 months to doing like flakless duo shieldless Fer-de-Lance fights, doing like just hyperdiction instances, multiple Thargoids, just really pushing that comfort zone it's such a rewarding thing in this kind of aspect of the game.
But
Right
they're
on.
all personal achievements that we set ourselves to complete. We don't really base anything on like personal, like solo kills or anything like that in the squadron. Like everyone's really happy if you manage to do it, and congratulates you and stuff. But it's not. It's all about having fun and as much wing fights as possible in the hand.
Yeah, it seems like you guys are sort of less about, sort of dick measuring and more about, as a group, we're going out, we're going to roll, we're going to go ahead and smack some shit and see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, getting as many commanders in as possible. Like I would fly like a shieldless build, same as Yawn, or in a chieftain or a Fer-de-Lance shieldless, and you're trying to attack a Thargoid while trying to avoid all the anacondas and cutters and corvettes that are in there and swooping about the place. It just adds to the mayhem of it all, and it's just amazing to watch when you're in the middle of it. It's just so much fun.
Now, you guys also were the ones that discovered the Delphi megaship, right? The multi-goid instances there.
That's true. Yeah. Yawn was one of those.
So I gotta give credit where it's due. Commander Alcyonis is the guy to have really made a good point, really saying like, I think we should really test with the scout and interceptors. So just to be really clear on that, if anyone wants to try it, you're wanting to go for a threat 6 for a Cyclops and scouts, or threat 7 for Basilisk and scouts. And what you're going to get is 2 to 4 scouts. That'll be in instance when you drop in, they'll shoot at you. And then about 20 seconds later, a Goid will drop in, do a shutdown surge, start fighting. You're good to go. Get as many people as you can in that instance. It will 90% like less likely of breaking. But basically, oh my gosh, I've lost my train of thought. I just really wanted to get
higher than 90%. So
sure people
I haven't
get
seen
that
an invincible heart
replicated,
in ages. Invincible heart just hasn't happened to us in a long time. And we've been doing nothing but scout instances with interceptors.
That's good.
So Delphi. I remember now. See, I'm in there. I'm with it. Alcyonis, a few of us, I know Forgotten One deserves a good call out as well, because he was the brave soul to champion Hatchbreaker and repair limpets that you'd need to actually interact with the megaship. So we dropped in at the Hercules class megaship. It was. I was super cynical about it because I was like, guys, it's such a waste of time. Let's just get hyperdicted and like have a big filthy wing fight. It'll be really cool. And they're like, no, we're going to try something else. And I was like an aggressive, like I was so obnoxious about it the whole night. And I don't think we'd have actually hung around as long if I hadn't have been so completely like nagging it. But basically after about 20 minutes of just tinkering around with the megaship, like we were just flying through it, appreciating the view. Forgotten, I'm pretty sure, was actually tinkering with it and figuring out what was going on. So basically, you'll data link scan a megaship, and then you'll check your contacts list, and you're going to want to find hull breaches. Ideally, that's the thing that has the best result, or cargo hatches, I believe. And periodically, you're going to get missions from the station asking you to help and interact with specific things. They don't really matter from what we can tell. The missions, they just come and go. They won't really interact with the Goid spawn rate. But for each whole breach that you repair, you trigger like a pretty high % chance to trigger an interceptor spawn. We've rarely gotten scouts, but we have gotten them to spawn in, but only about 2 or 3 times, and roughly the nearly 20 times we've tried it now. And yeah, each hull breach that you repair, so you have to data link scan it and then check your contacts and sub-target. Select that sub-target and repair that. That's how you get these things to repair. And yeah, dude, like you can get We had 9 interceptors in there all at once before. The other night we did an instance of 3 Medusa, 3 Basilisk, and 4 Cyclops within like an hour. I actually had gotten hyperdicted a few times into my Phantom undersized fuel tank. So I had less than 10% fuel, I believe, when I started the fight. And literally as we ended, I was on my emergency tank. I had no chips of fuel left at all. And it was just on the little bar. Just perma boosting to stay alive. But, you know, it's an unbelievable sensation doing these mega shifts because you can just literally, you can stay in there indefinitely. Yeah, commanders have been kind of pushing themselves using it as an endurance run kind of area now. But it's phenomenal just to see it really picking up. And you know, we try to tell everyone that'll listen, you know, hey, look, this is what we've been experiencing, and it's game changing for us. You guys should try it.
Well, big shout out to that guy for sciencing the fuck out of that and bring. You guys found yourself a party where you could just show up, put your dick in the guacamole, and say, "Yo, who's got a problem with this?"
Couldn't have fucking said it better myself, Kai.
Beautiful. All right, so now you guys are generally found rolling around Asterope, Delphi, and Krathaganet. I always Krathaganet. Yeah, that's how you say that.
That's it.
And your message is that when humanity stands united, it's the most powerful force in the universe, and we are here to prove it. Right?
Yeah.
I dig that. I dig that. So, guys, everybody that's listening in, new shit is coming. The Goids are coming back. Best believe that. Look forward to a very thargy Halloween. I'm saying it on the record. So let's see what fucking happens now. Now the Discord for the hand is going to be in the show notes, and you can go check out their YouTube, which is just also in the show notes there. It's one of those long strings of letters and numbers and shit. So go check them out. I highly recommend and give them my highest review, especially if you're Xbox and you want to get into anti-Xeno. These are the guys to talk to, man. They will show you how to get it done. So yeah, that's all fucking very, very exciting. Do you have anything else that you want to sort of say to the beautiful people before we wrap up this segment and get to the rest of the galaxy?
Oh, shucks. I mean, I'm sure loads, but, you know, that's the nature of things. You can prepare as much as you want, but when it comes down to it, you know, what's been said will be said. But I just want to, you know, we're a very tight-knit group. We have like 50 members, but we're really only ever like 15 active members at the most, usually around 12 or so. So just when you join, you know, don't be shy. Don't be shy. I know it can, you know, might seem a little daunting, but really don't, please, because we've all been there. We understand. And at the end of the day, we really do make an effort. Once you're in, that's it. You know, you don't have to work for anything else. You've earned your spot, and that's 100%. Like, you know, we put in that solo Goid requirement just so that when you're with us and we're all on our free time and our day off, no one's saying what's a heart, where's what's the swarm, why am I exerted? I thought the Thargoid was supposed to be exerted. What's this heat damage? You know, we want to avoid that kind of a scenario. It is end game content, but that's it. You know, once you've crossed that mountain, you're with us and you're an equal 100%. And just big respect to everyone doing it.
And before you cross that mountain, you guys are there every step of the way to walk them through the process. So it's not like, hey, go do it, figure it out, and then come back. Like, you guys are hooking them up.
No, we've got everything. Like, even me personally, anyone that I can get on at the same time as, I'll help them out as much as possible. In our Discord, we try and organize things. So we've got pinned all the things that you'd need to unlock Guardian weapons, all the best places to farm these materials, that material, just the best way and the quickest way for them to get into the action of doing it. And we'll absolutely help you along the way. We can't hold your hand the entire way, but we'll do everything we can to help you get your ship build. And we've got so many ships, like builds pinned in our Discord as well, to help you on all the best starter ships and things to move on to, and how to defeat a Basilisk and how to go onto Medusa. Just the different tips. Everyone's had their own experience and everyone's learned their things over the years. So there's literally no better place on Xbox to come if you're looking to get into fighting Thargoids.
I think Epic really meant to say as well, we need more EU time zone players, people, is what we really... Epic and I are Irish, and it's like nearly almost 20 to 2 here. That's no problem for me, by the way. I'm a night owl. But, like, we need more EU players. So hit us up. We'll have a good time.
All right. If you're playing
everyone's
Xbox,
welcome.
if you're playing Xbox anywhere around the world, but most especially in the EU, go over there. Even if you're like, hey, man, AX isn't my thing. I'm not going to focus on it like for forever. There's stuff that's coming. And if and when invasions happen, you're going to want to know how to protect yourself and defend humanity. So even if you're like, well, I'm more about racing, or I'm more about mining, or I'm more about mission running, or whatever, take a week or two, go learn how to do AX, learn, and you may be surprised to find you fall in love with it and never look back. But everyone needs to go out there, get some training, and be ready to defend yourself, because in the end, you have to fucking choose. Are you team people or are you meat? All right. So stay with us, guys, while we go on our tour around the galaxy. Let's have some drinks and see what's up. So right off the bat, let's start with the Dark Wheel. The Dark Wheel is doing well, actually doing very well. We our pending expansion out of Tour de Tani, which, you know, we knew was happening. We knew it was coming, and that is awesome. We did expand from 5455 into LHS 397, and in 397, we're now number 2 in the system, and we've already started the process to get it to number 1. We're going to be running through 397 and on our way to Earth, to Sol, the Sol system, and we're going to be running through from Tour de Tani for this expansion. We are pushing hard to try to get into Leige. We have been very kindly and graciously invited to be guests of the Leige Radio Navy in their system. They knew that we wanted to test Leige, and they said, yeah, you guys seem like fine, upstanding young individuals. We'll let you come in. They don't know us that well yet. But we are 100% looking to move into Leige. We are not looking to take Leige over. I don't want to have anybody confused on that point. We are friends with the Leige Radio Navy. We have absolute respect for them, and we're happy to be their guests. That will be testing that phase, is getting into Leige. We will also be testing before Thanksgiving the Earth phase, the Sol phase, and Frontier had some interesting things to say about that, which again we will get into when we get to the Frontier section and we talk about. You know what? Yeah. We'll wait till then. So everything is going fantastic for the Dark Wheel. Just could not be more happy or more proud. And for those people that were predicting like, oh, this is never going to happen, nothing's going to lead to anything, just wait until you hear what Frontier had to say about it today. I think you might find it interesting. All right, so let's start with the round table. Let's start with everybody's opinion. Arson, your thoughts on the hand and your thoughts on the Dark Wheel update. Right on. Roy.
Hey, Arson, you're muted. I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut across, but just reading the chat there, I think Arson was muted.
I was not muted in Discord, totally muted in OBS.
All right,
wow.
Say it again, Arson.
I'm going to cut it short, but congratulations to the hand for their leaderboard success, and I'm just more excited day by day. I'm looking forward to our activities in Leige to see if anything happens.
All right. Can you guys hear us now? Because now I'm seeing a note in the chat that nobody can hear anything. Test. Can you guys hear us? Type something.
Check.
Hello. Yo,
Also,
yo.
just to
2,
touch
3.
on it,
Okay.
I hadn't specified that actual
That a thing?
15 billion credit leaderboard score was from the 14 systems or thereabouts got burned in the incursions. So that was all conflict zones, straight up wings going in, like absolute carnage.
Right on, man. Right on. That's legit. I dig it. All right, Roy, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm still super excited as we get closer in the Dark Wheel. Very happy to see that the intensity is staying high, even with all the other amazing things going on in the game. So that's great to see. So thanks to everybody for that. And to you guys in the hand, I mean, I salute you. The work you put in and
Thanks,
having
man.
that kind of a path for people that are interested in that and want to follow it. And it's I'm sure it's a lot of hard work. Even though it's fun, it's like a thing you're doing to teach people. And yeah, I salute you for that. Thank you.
Cheers, man.
A lot of fun. Thank you, man.
Beautiful, beautiful. Tweak, your thoughts?
Yeah, with the hand, I can attest to that kind of sort of personally, actually. My Grand Admiral, one of the guys that I created OPIX with there, Tatsuya, a while back, was out bug hunting in his Axe Eagle hand guys and started winging up with them, and they had a good old don't
Nice.
be shy. Go out there, find these guys, fly with anybody as long as you're out there trying to do your thing. And I couldn't the Dark Wheel, how exciting to see the momentum never slow down, how BGS works like a well-oiled machine when you have such a lot of people all working towards it.
Right on. Tweak, you're sounding a little bit muffled, man. You maybe move your mic around a little bit, just a little.
Check, and nothing should be any different.
Yeah, you sound way, way quiet. You sound like you're from the other end of like a building or something. You're like yelling at the phone, and we're just hearing like very light. All right, Tweak, go ahead and drop and come back in. Epic, why don't you tell me your thoughts on the Dark Wheel? What's going on? Have you been following it all?
I have indeed. I've been trying to do missions for them and trying to expand as much as possible. Went on a big long detour of the galaxy and sold all the cartographic data to the Dark Whale and Shinrarta
Right on.
to get allied with them, and have been hugely supportive, knowing that trying to expand them is the key
Yeah,
to getting an advancement in the story. And I'm
Hopefully.
fully behind it.
Hopefully. And Jan,
I
your
think so.
thoughts? Jan?
Push to talk. I'm so sorry, but yes,
No worries.
absolute milestone for the community and fair play to everyone getting involved with it. I was active within it for the first couple of weeks, but I will not lie, I saw a shiny thing over there, got hella distracted, as is the nature with us AX hunters. But like I just think really, again, like just to stress, monumental achievement for a group of individuals, especially in a game like this where it's so easy to see shiny things in places.
Yeah.
To actually stick with it is just awesome, and yeah, no, I think it's really going to be a cool development. Absolutely.
And there's nothing wrong with that at all. People drop out and go do some stuff, and they come back and do some stuff. It's all good, man. This is all you know, if you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. So we want people to have fun, and yeah.
But are the stars aligning now in Elite for the Dark Wheel to come out with everything that's going on, with all the Galnet stories and everything that's going on? Is now the time for the Dark Wheel to show their card?
I think that Frontier said very, very clearly that they're all about right now pushing player-led narratives, and obviously they have some stories that they're doing, but I don't think you can look at what's going on with the Dark Wheel and not see that that is a big player-led narrative, and hopefully they'll engage.
Yeah.
And like I said, we'll get into when we get to the Frontier news. I think they are going to engage. I think based on what they said today. So,
good stuff.
Yeah. Arson, you had a segment you wanted to bring up on that video of the Dream of SPACELEGS. It was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, so I don't know how to pronounce his name, deZpe or something like that.
I would say deZpe.
deZpe.
Big Z.
Yeah, it's a fantastic little short one. It's only a couple of minutes long. You know, starts out with a little bit of humor from, you know, monotony and our ships like we experience now, and winds up with the commander getting up out of his seat.
Let's not
And,
spoil it.
Yeah.
Let's not spoil it, but he has a nightmare.
Yeah,
You
the
definitely
goodies
want
are.
to hang around. Yeah, don't. You're like, what's going on? And then it comes.
Yeah, if you have liked some of the live action-esque or animated videos that we've covered from other content creators recently, you will definitely enjoy this one.
Yeah, it's just a couple minutes long, and it's well worth a watch, and you'll get a good chuckle. It's well done, really, really good, really polished. I dug it. So check out deZpe with that video. You know who that guy's head is, right? With the Z on it there. That's the dude from that was the son of the guy who he was going hanging out with Zur and the Kodan Armada that they were coming to attack the fucking the guys in Last Starfighter. That's the guy where he's like, yeah, whatever. Nobody
Dude,
cares.
deZepe's I just call him deZepe. I don't know. But he's a great content creator. I really love his stuff. It's really, really good.
Right on, brother. Right on. Yeah, it's good shit. All right. And we have Elite Week race news segment. We're going to have a regular weekly segment where we talk about race news. Well, when there's news to talk about, regular reoccurring segment. And this is sponsored by the 8-Wheel Drive Endurance Challenge. So go ahead and play their commercial.
Chassis integrity compromised.
Welcome to the Scarab Proving Grounds. Watch your favorite racer compete for victory while they boost their SRV across the planets at speeds of well over 100 meters per second. Tune in to the 8-Wheel Drive Endurance Championship broadcast during one of the 5 remaining races in the championship. Check out the Elite Racers subreddit for more details and a link to their Discord.
Right on. And I think there's like 2 races left. And it should be good shit. I've put up my the from the swag bag that Frontier sent me. They sent a very cool Scarab SRV like schematic that is actually etched into like clear plastic, and I've put that up to go along with the first place trophy for the overall winner of the rally series. So we're watching that with great interest. There's another race coming up before too long, so we'll be covering it. But today, what we have to show you for the race segment is Speedbowl is coming back, and our good friend Primetime Casual gave us a little video. Arson, why don't you show it off to the beautiful people?
One year in the making. No expenses spared. The fastest race in history is back. It's time to drop again. Going hypersonic. Downright reckless. Rebuys not included. Speedbowl 4, New Grounds, November 3306. Fly fast. And don't forget to miss the ground.
Right on. Do not forget the advice from the what was it? The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. The trick is to throw yourself at the ground and miss. So very important that and miss. It's key point to that. So Tweaked, why don't we start with your thoughts on the deZpe video and the Speed Bowl announcement?
Well, the video, if y'all can hear me now, the video, one thing that made me think of, and I've been one contending I don't really care about ship interiors, except for on those long super cruise trips when I'm going from one menu to the other looking for something to change. Then I could just get up and walk around my cockpit. Maybe I do want it. I don't know. That's what that made me think of. And the speed racing stuff, even their commercials are such high quality. I cannot wait to watch this stuff.
Yeah, man. For sure. Arson, your thoughts on those two subjects?
Stoked for both.
Beautiful. Roy.
So, I don't want to spoil anything in that video. Definitely worth watching. Definitely worth watching to the end because, yeah, the first half of it, you're like, so what's going on here? But it's definitely worth watching. One thing it made me think of when I saw the amount of the interior that was included in that little bit that he walked through, it's not like he's attempting to display the whole inside of a ship. And it got me thinking, there's so much conversation around ship interiors and what would be worth it or not worth it. I think there's some kind of middle ground here where, yeah, maybe it doesn't have to be like anatomically correct down to the millimeter every single interior cavity of a ship modeled, right? You can still have a lot of fun with interacting with the modules we know are already in the ship, and you kind of, elevate or teleport as it were to different spots. That can still be fun. And maybe that's an order of magnitude easier to do. I don't know. I was thinking too, like maybe there could be some suspension of disbelief, kind of like how, Doctor Who's TARDIS is bigger on the inside than the outside. If they had to do a little bit of that to make it work, I'm not gonna, that's not gonna break my immersion. If things aren't millimetrically, lined up with the interior cavity that we know the ship sizes are.
Hell yeah, man, for sure. I strongly sort of agree that, just because Star Citizen is going the route of, we've got every step measured, we've got every this, we've got every, bookshelf, we've got where the coffee sits, whatever, like that's cool and all, but keep in mind they're 8 years in on a tech demo. So there's definitely some idea there to find that middle ground and just like, go with that. Don't try to compete with what you don't do. Do what you do and do it better than anyone, for sure. Epic, your thoughts on the deZpe video and the Speed Bowl?
I was actually away to the toilet. I don't have an opinion. I'm very sorry about that.
Dude, this is Elite Week. That's how it goes, bro. It's all good. Jan.
Yo, hella deZpe. Great man. Haven't seen that particular video yet because I'm here, but hella guy. Actually, you saw my very first power plant snipe from that. Moi. But I've forgotten what the second part was, so I'm just gonna again hella deZpe.
Speed Bowl.
Speed bowling is awesome. I have not tried that out myself yet, or canyon racing in Elite. I love that. The depth to all of that as well, though. Records being broken.
Right on. All right. So now we come to Frontier News, and holy shit, has it been a week for Frontier News. Let's start right off the bat with okay. So Live Radio this week, they talked about the newsletters and they had a whole discussion, and they were talking about how, the newsletters are kind of crap. And you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. No, not pulling any punches. The newsletters absolutely were kind of shite for a while there. Newsletters in the history of Elite were phenomenal back in the day. They were really, really good. And then at some point, it sort of got scaled back to where it was, how do I say this? It literally was sort of just the like, and we have this paint job. And it was that's sort of all that it was. It's all right. But they have brought it back. And as of a couple newsletters ago, like shit was really good. Newsletter 302, phenomenal. And newsletter 303 just dropped today. And in that newsletter, first off, they have a link to the article on Dev Diary 2, Forging Your Own Path, which has additional answers. There's a forum post with a whole bunch of additional answers that people should check out. They talk about wrapping in Horizons for everyone on October 27th and how the people that previously purchased Horizons are going to get, all of those paint jobs for free for all of your ships, just as a little thank you. They talk about the 300th newsletter competition ended. Huge congratulations to Colin, who won a Elgato Stream Deck, and to the many people, I think it was like 50 people, won 5,000 ARCs. Congrats to all of you guys. They talked about their live streams for this week, which were great. We're going to get to in a minute. They did the standard, here's our paint jobs, and I'm going to be honest, I'm going to give all of those paint jobs a pass. But like, whatever. It's different strokes for different folks, whatever. They talked about the GALNET news articles, all of them that were released this week. And then under the community section, there was two things. The first, they talked about the community goal, which we're going to get to in just a moment. But the second thing they listed there is the Dark Wheel continues turning. The Dark Wheel player faction is in a state of expansion with movement into the Leige system expected in under 2 weeks. This marks a milestone for the player group behind the movement, with plans to push into Sol in about a month. Players interested in the reasons behind the initiative can find out more and get involved by joining the Elite Week Discord. Awesome stuff. And then they have a live stream schedule with different content creators that that you can see when you can find them if you want to check out some different sort of flavors of Elite. That was super, super awesome. I gotta say, I'm feeling like for them to highlight this, it didn't sound, like the idea of moving into Sol is impossible. It didn't sound like, this is just crazy out of line. It might be me just with my wishful thinking. We'll see how it goes, but I am feeling just personally very, very hopeful now that some stuff will happen. We will see. So moving on with Frontier News, they had 2 streams this week. The first was SUPERCRUISE News 7, which was Bruce and Steven. And if you have not seen it, this is only going to be available to see for like 2 weeks, and then it goes away because it's from Twitch. But I highly recommend that every last one of you pour yourself a drink at some point this week and watch that video. It is hilarious. So Steven and Bruce decided they were going to go and fight for the Empire in last week's CG. And Bruce then decided he was going to troll the fuck out of Steven. So every time they jumped into a CZ, Bruce would start firing on the Empire so that everybody in the whole thing turned hostile. And just literally, I think it was like it was 2 or 3 times in the course of like 20 minutes just got Steven blown up. And every time it was fucking hilarious because Steven would be like, why is everybody firing at me? Did you shoot whatever? And Bruce is like, yeah, mate, spice of light. And it was maybe the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. It was fucking amazing. So that was super entertaining. And then Thursday was the stream Fight or Flight, which it was Art and Bruce. Steven was supposed to be there, but I think he was having technical difficulties or something, but it was last minute. Art stepped in. It was Art and Bruce, and they were with Plater, and they were talking about doing bounty hunting and doing that, and it was good fucking times. Why don't we start with the guest? Epic, your thoughts on the newsletter 303 and the Frontier streams for this week?
Yeah, I checked out that Plater one. Sorry, Epic, I'd like totally just like Leroy Jenkins that one, but I'd just it'd be awkward if I stop now. I haven't actually, I've opened 2 Elite newsletters. I'm a terrible person, and they were both containing free paint jobs. But I will definitely now, like, you really piqued my interest with pointing out, that they're quite detailed now. So I'll definitely be keeping an eager eye on them. Sorry.
They were very skippable for a while, but they're good now.
Yeah, that's excellent. So I must definitely check them out more regularly as well. With the comment about the conflict zone, I was just immediately thought like, yep, that's your average hand conflict zone. You know, the Starship 1, the attack on Starship 1 when it was in orbit over Mars, Epic and I went to that. I think it was just the two of us, and then Flinchy Thumbs came in a Vulture for some fire support, and we took it on. Just the three of us, we routed it, and then more people turned up because they were just hearing about how much fun we were having. But that was phenomenal. It was a lot of fun. I just wanted to touch on that.
Hell yeah. Epic, your thoughts on all this?
I watched the SUPERCRUISE news, and I watched
was
the epic
hilarious,
trolling of what
wasn't
was
it?
going on. It was hilarious. Yeah,
It was-
he didn't seem to have a clue what was going on and getting
was
shot up by
so
absolutely
trolling.
everyone. Yeah, it was. I got a lot of laughs out of watching that. It was brilliant.
I thought that was maybe the best SUPERCRUISE news I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It was just for
Yeah.
entertainment value. You could not beat
I wasn't
it.
expecting it. I didn't expect to laugh that hard. Watch, to have to say, definitely tune in for those from now on.
Tweak,
Definitely
your
much more entertaining.
Right on. Tweak, your thought on the newsletters and the streams, the newsletter and the streams.
Yeah, the newsletters definitely dipped for a little while, like you said, and they've gotten better since. But I still would contend, even when the quality, quote unquote, dipped, I don't really think the newsletters are really intended for those of us on the show and those of us that listen to the show that are diehard Elite fans. I mean, I know me personally, I suck up every bit of Elite information I can get all week long. So whatever they send me in the newsletter, I pretty much have already seen. So I think it's really geared towards a more casual fan, possibly. But the SUPERCRUISE news thing, that was just absolutely high entertainment value. I feel bad for Steven. It seems like everybody's always picking on poor Steven.
I think they're buddies. They're laughing it off. They were having a good time. Roy, your thoughts on the newsletter 303 and the streams?
Yeah, I think Tweak makes a good point. I mean, the lifeblood of a newsletter is to have things to write about. So that's changed, obviously, for the better in a big way in the last few weeks. I mean, just to say it again, I really want to congratulate everyone involved in the Dark Wheel that they got a mention in the newsletter. That was really cool to see. And boy, there's some tinfoilery that can spin off of being recognized officially in a canon, appropriate lore piece of literature in the game. So that's super cool. I think as far as the SUPERCRUISE, I mean, what made that funny is how innocent Steven was in that situation. It just seemed completely natural. So that was, that was really funny.
Yeah. And I mean, Bruce has got a wicked little fucking sense of humor. The entire community team is firing on all cylinders. And I mean, Art as the anchor of the team is fucking amazing. That guy fights for us to be able to share what he can. He's no nonsense. He's very, like, hey, here's what we can do. Here's what we can't do. And he pushes the envelope in our favor. And I fucking love him for that.
He relates to how we play the game.
Yeah. Bruce is wicked sense of humor, funny, wry, and sneaks in little hints of things here and there. And I fucking love him for that. Steven is just happy-go-lucky, the sweetest guy in the world, super, super nice, super, like, a lot of people look at it and it's like, well, this bit comes from Art, or this bit comes as a hint from Bruce, or this bit comes here, this bit comes there. What they don't see is Steven is the glue behind the scenes that's holding the whole thing together. He's the one that arranges the streams and sets up stuff and does the prep work and just like, that guy does not get enough credit for all of the stuff. He's the guy, he's the glue that holds the whole thing together. And Paul is great on the forums. And the few times, like, he hasn't made a lot of appearances thus far on camera or whatever, but great guy, really, really funny. He is an old school, what is it, Grocknard or whatever. Like, he's one of us. He's an uber nerd, and he's a fucking, like, awesome. Just the entire team is killing it. And I just think these guys are doing it well.
Wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah. So let's move on to the forum posts. The big forum posts that I pulled out, and all of these links to the streams are in the show notes. The newsletter, you got to go sign up for yourself, but for sure you should do that and go check. And be careful, because sometimes like it throws my newsletter, it threw my newsletter in the like the trash folder or whatever, the spam folder or whatever. Got to go pull that out. Make sure that you click it. I start it in Google so that it won't do that anymore. And I put the thing to say, no, put it in the main folder. I don't want this in my trash folder. I want to see this every fucking week when it comes out. But the forum post that I pulled out is the thread with the Developer Diary 2 recap that was mentioned in the newsletter. That is, they just posted today a whole bunch of answers to questions of stuff where people are like, hey, what about this with shields for my suit? What about this for how the starports work? What about this? What about that? They put a big list of, here's your question, here's the answer. Everyone should go check that out. And the GALNET news articles for this week. So there was 3 separate articles that we pulled out and highlighted. You've got on October 5th, there was the Revelation Halts Starship 1 trial. This was where the tech that they were putting on trial for murder said like, well, actually, I was told to do it from up from the very top. And they were like, okay, we're going to halt everything and take you to a private room and grill this guy and try to get the story behind it, what's going on. So that was on the 5th. On the 8th, military strike against Marlinist faction and Eurybia Blue Mafia resists Imperial forces. Again, all of these are linked in the show notes. And on the 9th, was Fleet Admiral Vincent named as Starship 1 saboteur. Now, here's why that's important. You should definitely go read that article. Fleet Admiral Vincent is the good buddy of President Hudson. So the way that this all goes out is President Hudson is not in power. Halsey's in power. President Hudson makes a big deal back in the day about like, oh, Halsey's lefty, liberal, whatever. She's weak against crime. Look at these guys are here doing onion head, and she's not even stopping them, and yada, yada, yada at Pan Am. And he goads Jasmina Halsey into like coming down hard and like, well, we're going to have to crack down on him because my political opponent is making points off of me being weak on crime. So she cracks down on the onion head dealers or whatever from Pan Am, the growers and all that. Then he talks to his buddy, Hudson talks to his buddy, Fleet Admiral Vincent, and gets him to escalate things past what Halsey wanted and starts firebombing Pan Am. Now, Halsey's stuck in a spot where she's been positioned, she's been maneuvered Machiavellian style by Hudson to go hard on crime. She's stuck. She's got to double down on shit. And now people are starting to question her and they're getting upset. And she now has to go on this sort of tour of like she's flying around on Air Force One or Starship One or whatever to try to like do a press tour of like, no, I'm not really that bad. We're just fighting against crime or whatever. He gets his buddy again, Fleet Admiral Vincent, to get one of the techs to sabotage her ship. Her ship explodes. Everybody's presumed dead. And it's all hush-hush covered up. Felicia Winters takes over her spot, but Felicia Winters never wanted to be the top dog. And Hudson was the one, the elections were coming up anyways, and Hudson was the one that was the real sort of Machiavelli pulling the strings. He takes over the presidency and puts his buddy in a prime, spot, and then covers everything up. So now this shit is all falling apart, and it is supremely obvious to anyone even slightly paying attention that all fingers are pointing at Hudson now as the guy. This is straight up the storyline from Babylon 5. He fucking whacked the president, or well, tried to. It turned out that she survived, saw the caretakers of the galaxy, whatever, and is now hanging out with Edmund Mahan in the Alliance because that's where it's safe, I guess. They put her in a loony bin at one point. It's been a whole thing, but all the fingers are pointing at Hudson as being the sort of dirty dog on this.
Yeah,
so
his GALNET article at the time was, I can't believe anyone was found alive.
Yeah,
like he knew that she should have died.
Mm-hmm.
But he was super shocked. that anyone was found alive.
But the caretakers of the universe stepped in and saved her, which is interesting.
Exactly.
Yeah, and his pacifiers are shit.
All right, and you know what? We're just going to wrap up Frontier News so we can get to the talking points here. Community goals wise. So there was last week's community goals, which just ended, in which last week's CG, Liz Ryder's massively overpowered rack thwarted Dower Denton Petraeus in his attempt to try to take on trying to go and invade a system with a stupid fucking power grab. And then this week's CG, Dower Denton is attempting to crush the peaceful Empire citizen in one of their own states. And this is another combat bond CG, but this one ends on Wednesday. And here's why that's important. If a combat CG, if any CG ends on Wednesday, it's almost a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. There's a follow-up to this CG. There's this part 2 to the CG, kind of like the old Interstellar initiatives. There's a follow-up to it, and it's going to be something that happens on the tick. Now, I could be wrong. That's just conjecture. This is not official, whatever. But I think what you're going to see is this CG is going to follow up with something that's going to start right on the tick for the next thing. There's going to be some art asset move, something is going to happen there. And lastly, just to wrap up Frontier News, Frontier was interviewed by Massively OP. So there's a link in the show notes to that article if you want to go check it out. So why don't we start with Roy? Your thoughts on the CG, the GALNET news, the new CG, and the forum post.
So by massively overpowered rack, you're referring to the double engineered missile rack, correct?
Correct. Her missile rack brought the entire galaxy out to defend her.
Understood. I'm just thrilled that between all the GALNET news articles and community goals coming back to back, it's starting to feel like I can't even keep up with it all.
Yes.
Which is exactly what I was hoping for.
Absolutely.
I think that's great. I'm going to have to, I haven't been playing the game long enough to have been around when all this political intrigue and stuff went down the first time around. So I'm going to have to do a bit of reading to figure out some of the backstory on this to understand some of these nuances. But I love it. I love that this is happening now and at this pace. This feels about right.
And just for Roy's edification, for any of you guys out there, you gotta be checking out, especially now with all the news that's flowing so well. You gotta be checking out GALNET News Digest. Commander Wotherspoon and his new protege, Commander Beetlejude. They did the story about that CG, and it was literally Beetlejude read the story that Wotherspoon had written about Liz Ryder's overpowered rack thwarting the Empire. And she literally, if you listen carefully, at the end of her talking about Liz Ryder's overpowered rack, you will hear her hitting her head on her desk at Wotherspoon's choice of phrasing on that. It was fucking hilarious. Arson, your thoughts on the CG, the GALNET, the forum post?
So the part that I want to talk about is the CG. I am really, really intrigued by the reward for Liz's missiles. Not so much because I'm interested in a high capacity, lightweight missile rack, but what other goodies are they going to give us?
Well, let me step in on that, and I want to point out something because it's been asked. What's the deal? What does this indicate? Are we getting, player driven in Odyssey? Are we going to get, players can go and double primary, fully engineer a thing with a whatever. So I posed the question directly to Frontier, and their response was, these will only ever be offered as rewards for certain activities when and if the narrative requires. This will not be a function that we will be bringing to the game for players to do outside of this, which I think is absolutely the right call. To have a special little thing that they can put out here or there and they can pick how they do it, so it's not something that completely breaks the game, that's okay. If you give us the ability to, long range 5, overpower, thermal vent, that's breaking shit. Or just, like plasma accelerators that have 2 of the fully engineered things that lower the heat, they give you better heat dissipation.
A lot of unintended consequences if you open that all the way up.
This was smart how they handled it. Tweaked, your thoughts on all of this Frontier news?
Love all this Frontier news. Can't get enough of the stories. Not even going to try to predict where they're going to go, other than the fact that there are some major political implications coming that we may see down the line, which makes it very intriguing. I earlier this evening just had my less than half a ton high capacity lightweight with thermal cascade Seeker missile racks shipped to my fleet carrier, so that's already in game and ready to go. And I'm just having a ball with all these CGs.
Fantastic. Jan, your thought on this Frontier news?
Man, I gotta say, big shout out to Frontier for this, like current CZ in particular. You have mega ships in the actual zones, and we've always been saying, talk to any combat pilot. I wish there was a focal point, a centerpiece to all of this, So that's been amazing, and I think I'm just really excited. The game universe feels the most alive that it has since like the Thargoid War was in full swing, where every Thursday you were logging on, checking GALNET, going on several Discords, and it was an incredible atmosphere. So it's great that it's coming back.
Absolutely. And not only are there those mega ships, but there have been as many as 3 mega ships sighted in one of the CZ zones, and they are opening up fire. If you kite, enemies over close enough to within range of those mega ships, they will open fire and light up. So that's a first. That's new. That's cool. I dig that. That's really good shit. Epic, your thoughts?
Oh man, first off, yes, absolutely adoring how many Galnet articles there are, but to get down into the story, then Hudson is a puppet, Hudson's a bastard. There's it's the clubber behind everything, and it's gonna come to some sort of huge big fucking war between Dark Whale, come save us all, lots of pews, lots of fun. It's gonna be amazing. It really feels like Elite's starting to hit its final strides into just brilliance.
Yeah. And anybody want to give me their thoughts on Liz Ryder's amazing rack that thwarted the Empire?
G5 for life.
Muy bueno.
Right on. All right. So yeah, the Frontier news is pretty fucking great this week. I think that takes us into Tweaks tip of the week.
Right, tip of the week already. Here we go. Everybody knows of all our great third-party websites that we use to make our way through this game. EDDB.io is a great one, and most everybody knows about Inara.cz. What I find a lot of people don't know about Inara is why it's so crucial that everybody connect your account to Inara. It's real easy to do. You create an account on Inara.cz. It's easier if you make it the same gamer tag that you use in game. Then it'll ask you which platform you play on, PC, Xbox One, PS4, click whichever one, sign in with your username and password for that, and boom, it connects your account to your actual in-game character. The reason this is so beneficial to do is for the engineering itself. Now, Inara, you can do so many things. You can look at systems, stations, all around the galaxy. You can get all kinds of information with it. But when it comes to engineering, all you have to do is, if you want to upgrade your FSD, you go to Engineering tab, you click on Felicity Farseer, you go to FSD, you want increased range, you click on the recipe for increased range, and it will tell you what materials you have, what materials you're missing, and what you need. So it'll tell you if you need 10 military superconductors, but you only have 7, it'll tell you you have 7, but you need 10. So it keeps track of all of it. You just hit update commander profile, it loads it back up, and then it will tell you what you are lacking. So you can actually go to a material trader, trade for everything you're going to need before you even go to the engineer, and then you can grade 5 with experimental with one trip to the engineer. Makes everything so much easier.
Right on. That is good shit, brother. Thank you. All right. So that takes us to another segment we've added, which is the Elite Week Canon Interstellar Spotlight. Every week, again, this is whenever there's something new to put out, we definitely want to shout out Canon. I personally feel that of all of the institutions in the game, there is none finer in all of Elite than Canon Interstellar as far as the history, the long history of, things that they've discovered, and I think there's about to be a lot new shit to discover, and I'm super excited to see them spool back up and to see all of this stuff come down. So right off the bat, Arson, why don't we start with the Canon plugin update? This is very, very cool, and I think everyone should see this video so that they can get this plugin and get the update and see what it can do for them.
Hello, fellow Cannoneers. I've been very busy enhancing our tools to include some of the latest data that we have been gathering. In particular, I wanted to draw your attention to a small but very significant change that I have made to the biology data map. We now have an unknown biology signals section, which shows biology signals captured from the Elite Dangerous Data Network, or EDDN for short. These are systems that we know contain biology, but do not have any corresponding composition scans to tell us what is there. This data is not just gathered by the Canon plugin, but by commanders running the many third-party software packages that interface with the EDDN. You will have noticed that the patrol system in our excellent plugin will direct you to the nearest system with unscanned signals. But the changes we have made to our map means that you can now investigate in advance to see what might be there for you to discover. If we zoom in on this area in the fourth quadrant, we can see a number of known biology types, as well as a surrounding cluster of unknown signals in red. In this instance, the biology found in this area so far are brain trees and bark mounds. If you click on any of the systems, it will show you some information on the left-hand panel indicating what kind of biology has been found so far. One rather useful change we've made for the unknown signals is that we've added a link to the recently updated signals page. Clicking on the link takes you to a page that can help you predict what type of biology you're likely to find. The axes on this chart represent gravity on the y-axis and temperature on the x-axis. We have drawn coloured boxes on the chart that represent the known range of gravity and temperature. The bodies themselves are represented by circles centred on the gravity and temperature of the body, and if you hover over them, it will give details. So if a body falls within a box with a matching body type, this means that the body is capable of supporting the biology indicated by the box. In this example, we can see that all the bodies are capable of supporting brain trees, as well as some supporting bark mounds. If you're searching for brain trees, this might be a good system to visit. If we look at another nearby star, we can see that none of the bodies are capable of supporting anything other than bark mounds, so we may want to give it a wide berth. So there you have it. I hope this helps you on your search for whatever it is you're looking for. If you have any ideas about improving our tools, please get in touch and give us your suggestions, no matter how asinine they are.
Permission granted, Commander. Laboratory space will be allocated upon a successful landing.
Irish.
Yeah, it helps if I unmute. All right. First off, so welcome back. Amazing shit. I'm super interested. I dig that he's showing you here's how you can go find new shit and just breaks it down for you. People need to go get that plugin, get in on that. Also, with regard to Canon, I want to do a shout out and highlight the fact that they have a new Canon podcast. There's a link to it in the show notes for the YouTube video. I think they're going to be getting themselves on, all of the podcast sites. It takes a couple weeks to get that already going, but Calturn, Larzok, Pangolin, and Savern Winter already have an episode out, and it's awesome stuff. So go and check that out. Throw it on the second screen while you're flying around. And I just want to throw in one thing that came up in the chat while we were watching this video. People have already tried, and you can safely change the experimental effect on that double fully engineered missile rack from Liz Ryder. So for sure, I just want to give everybody the shout out to go out there and change. It's safe. You can go do that to your heart's content. You're going to keep your 5.5 with your experimental effect of choice. So why don't we start with Arson? Your thoughts on all of the stuff with Canon, the new podcast, and the missile rack.
So I've got to say, with Canon, I'm pretty pumped. I caught their first Welcome Back podcast from being inactive. They're ramping up their media presence, and so far it's looking great.
Absolutely.
The missile rack, that news about the experimentals is pretty awesome, because I don't really see the thermal one being that beneficial for my playstyle. So I'm excited about that.
Of course, yeah. All right. Roy, your thoughts?
So I installed the Canon plugin. When we mentioned it, I think it was a couple weeks ago. I've been flying around with that. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Really enjoying that. When I saw this video, where essentially they're adding a small feature to this existing database map program, I'm like, how did I not know about this database map program? Like, I was blown away that existed, let alone this little incremental improvement they've made to it. I had no idea that wasn't some sort of, secret canon, within the inner circle. Here's the rich database of all of our knowledge kind of thing. I loaded that up, and I'm gonna have some fun with that.
Yeah, man, they put it out there for everybody. They're very, very cool that way. And that's why I wanted to play the whole video, because I really wanted to highlight that. LCU is just a fucking awesome dude. He puts a lot of work into the plugin stuff and getting all of that. That's kind of his pet project. And he's such a sweet fucking dude. We had him on a couple of weeks ago, and he's, just great guy. He is working on a thing for the Dark Wheel project, a very, very cool star map kind of setup for us that we'll tell you more about it later. But holy shit, it's exciting stuff.
And about the missile rack, I would say if anyone has an issue, you try to change the experimental and it doesn't work, even though Kai told you it would, you can reach him at eliteweek3306@gmail.com and share your feelings.
Fuck yeah, bro. Tweet.
Yeah, well, Canon is next level with everything they do, and props to them for starting up the podcast again. I know that's something that they used to do, and I believe they stopped, and now they're getting it going again. I will always welcome more elite content to come in and listen to. The struggle is to find the time to listen to it all nowadays, but that is not a bad thing.
I also dig it because they sort of focus on elite, and I like that.
Yes, that's very important when it comes to elite content. I believe that's my personal opinion, anyways. The missile rack, that's big news if true, and I would add to everybody, if you want to change that experimental, and let's be fair, most of us do want to change that because thermal cascade is just kind of. But I would try to do it quicker than later, just in case it's not intended to work that way and FDev decides to change that. So
Right on, right on. All right. Did I do Arson already?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go to Jan. Your thoughts on all this stuff with Canon and the missile?
Straight up, Canon are just one.
Push to talk.
Dang, finger slipped. Canon, thank you, by the way. Canon are really one of those organizations that Elite would be much like, you know, they really make the galaxy a lot more rich and actually like alive in a lot of ways. You know, they're great for that. And so big shout out to them. And like, you know, I've just such fond memories of getting into Goiding right when the Hydra turned up and watching that whole live stream with Canon and everything. It was just a really great time. So sorry, I know that really isn't related to what you're asking, but that's what I think of Canon. Okay.
I dig it.
Missile Rack's pretty awesome, although to be perfectly honest, like lightweight high cap, that's just good for, you know, bit of bounty hunting, bit of something casual. So it's good for a goofy build to be able to try out something weird on it, for sure. But it's awesome, you know, and big shout out to that person in the comments for you know, sharing that with us. It's going to be cool. Looking forward to trying it out.
Right on. Epic, your thoughts?
Not much I can say about Canon that hasn't already been said. Like, they're just an asset to the whole of Elite Dangerous. There's other groups out there like Independent Raxel Hunters. Scully and the Mosty set that up. It's another fantastic place for all the lore and all the tinfoil hattery of the game. As for the missile rack, yeah, I would change the experimental on that. That's not going to be that useful. Drag drives or something to help you out.
For sure.
Primarily.
Right on. All right. It's time to move on to real life science. We move from canon to science in the universe. We start off with, there's a link here to a view of Earth from the ISS, the International Space Station. And let me tell you, does it look good? Throw it up there, Arson. Look at that. That's fucking gorgeous. I go for space porn, man. Every time I see these like links to stuff from the space station or from Hubble or from, you know, they'll have, oh, this is from, you know, even old, you know, this is from Discovery or this is from, you know, the new stuff, Osiris Rex or whatever. I'm always excited. And coming up, man, all of our stuff, we've got 3 missions on the way to Mars right now, and they're going to be getting there in February. So lots of stuff to see. Later this month, they announced that they did a last round of testing or whatever on Osiris Rex. Later this month is when they're going to go make their collection. So it's going to be exciting to see, and they'll be bringing it back in 2023. So look forward to that. All right. Then next up is actually a segment that Roy is going to go ahead and introduce from Anton Petrov on how to discover your own planets in NASA telescope data. Go ahead and take it, Roy.
Yeah, so I thought this part was fascinating. I mean, Antov does great videos. If you're not subscribed to him and you're into any kind of anything to do with space or astronomy or astrophysics, or he can break it down and make it understandable and walk you through it, and it's fun and exciting. I really love his channel. This one in particular, what surprised me is what he's highlighting here is there are some tools, some software tools that are freely available, simple to use, where you can kind of be like your own explorer of the galaxy by looking through the data from the Kepler and TESS exoplanet hunting missions. So there is a mountains and mountains of data that has come out of these. TESS is the newer one, and it's still producing data that hasn't even, like, there's so much data. All the scientists and graduate students and other organizations that are going through it, like, it's going to take a long time to get through all of it. And so it's a bit of a gold rush to use some of these tools to sift through it. I compare it actually to a gold rush where you're panning for gold, and he steps you through some very easy tools step by step. It's in Python, and he has some videos that also teach that, but you don't need to know lot of Python to figure this out because he walks you through the commands, and it's basically some simple commands that take the raw data from that these telescopes have downloaded, and it shows it as like a signal source, and then it looks like a you're looking for little movements in the signal that are basically a planet crossing in front of the star that was being watched. And it's about 5 steps. And at the end of the 5 steps, you know if you've seen a planet or not. And this is real data in real time. And you can discover you could be a discoverer of an exoplanet. It's like that. It's like anybody could go pan for gold. Anybody can go use these simple tools that he walks you through. It is not hard. I'm going to try this weekend. I think it's going to be a load of fun. The thing, I mean, I love exploration in Elite, and I sort of got the same tingles watching this video. Like, you can just pick based on criteria of star type or distance, or just pick randomly, just as if you were flying through the galaxy, and you get to see what you get to see, except it's real. This is real. And one of the things I'm looking forward to actually is picking some stuff out of this database, seeing if I see something, then go look at it in Elite and see what's in there.
So this is based off of the transits. So the way that we find exoplanets is because you can't see that far away. What you look for is when there's a blink or a dimming of the star, because that indicates that there's a body that's moving in front of that star that's blocking a certain spectrum of the light.
Yeah, it's and really what the little procedure, I guess, that he's going through, someone made some libraries that simplify what would have been a whole crap load of programming to do this, to where now you just need to run a few commands, and it takes it from like a splotchy looking star to a string of points. And you can see in this one that, those spikes are where something's crossing in front of the star, and then a few more commands, and it sort of folds those over on each other to reveal the one big moment where the planet crossed in front of the star, and it stands out like a sore thumb. And then voila, you've just discovered an exoplanet.
That's legit, man. I dig that shit.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So if you're interested in doing this, we have a link in the show notes. You can look at the video. He explains to you where to go, how to do it, how to get set up, and the steps to follow. And basically what's going to happen is it's just like the folding at home project kind of thing, where it's like there's so much data to go through that it's like, okay, we'll make this publicly available. People can look. And if you flag something, then what it's going to do is it'll go to a graduate student who's going to like review it and go like, no, yeah, this is legit, or like, no, this idiot doesn't know what he's doing. And, and that graduate student will then reach out to somebody else who will confirm, somebody higher up who will confirm, and it'll go through sort of the scientific process. And each step of the process is going to be someone looking at it to disprove it. And then once they say like, nope, okay, this is legit, this is not disproven, then it moves up the line. So right now we're living in a very exciting time where people can get involved in this process. And we are, as a species, just, 50 years ago, we didn't know that exoplanets exist. Even much more recent, we didn't know that they existed. And then, now we're at the point where we've literally found, as we talked about last week on the show, the first exoplanet in another galaxy. That shit is crazy. But, finding exoplanets in this galaxy is much easier. So get involved and do this if you want to get in. And I think for streamers and content creators who are like, man, I want to do something a little interesting. You got people like Mal for the win, who does stuff where like him and Psychic will like live stream like NASA launches or whatever. I would love to see a very technical, capable guy like Mal, or like Down to Earth, or somebody do a stream where they actually do this and like highlight it to the community or whatever. And I just think it's super, super awesome. And so the last thing that we have on the NASA news is or this week in Real Science News, and then we'll add the Expanse on there, is that there's a video that we've got linked here. This week at NASA. Now, this was from last week, but we were super, super busy with what do you call it? All of the news from the Dev Diary. So we didn't get a chance to cover it, but there's a launch going up soon to the ISS, the International Space Station. You've got a female American astronaut and 2 Russian astronauts. that are going to be going up to the ISS. They're taking off, and this is a continuation of the project. There was more information on the Artemis project. The budget went through their big congressional meeting, and they talk about the process that they're going through here. In 2021, they're going to have an Artemis launch. In 2023, they're going to have a manned Artemis launch that's going to be going past, I think, the upper atmosphere, areas, the LEO, lower Earth orbit. And then in 2024, the plan is to put people on the moon to stay. So this is all super, super interesting, exciting. It's a couple minute long video. It's a 3 minute long video. Go check out This Week in NASA and keep checking it out, because that's definitely one to subscribe to and keep informed. And on the Expanse news, we've got, a couple things happened. Number one, there was a video, what do you call it? It was basically the Comic-Con, but because you can't do Comic-Con with COVID, they did a Comic-Con type stream for the Expanse. And right there on the screen you can see they're talking about how OSIRIS-REx, they found bits from Bennu. Bits of Vesta on Bennu, which is super, super exciting. I cannot wait for them to get that data back. But okay, so on the Expanse, number one, they did a huge live stream type thing where they had a bunch of the cast on there, and they were talking about stuff and talking about season 5. They played the season 5 trailer in that live stream, and they announced live then that this happened just the other day, that season 5 will start on December 12th. On December 12th, season 5 will drop on Amazon, and the way they're doing it this season, is the first 3 episodes will drop. After that, it will be every week. So December 19th and, et cetera, going on. 1 episode a week. So they're giving you the first 3 to sort of get you back fully invested and caught up to get you, because you have to do setup for a show, for a TV season, and they don't want to put the first one and have people go, whatever. By getting you 3 in, they're going to get you totally hooked. And then every week you're going to have those water cooler moments where you're going to act. It's not going to be like you binge it all in a day and then it's done. They're going to slow it down a little bit so that you savor it and get a chance to talk to your friends about, holy shit, did you see what they did yesterday? And let me tell you something, book 5 is the best of the books. It is the most exciting. Ask anybody who's read through them all, and they will tell you this is the one that they've been waiting for. So I expect that this is going to be the best season of The Expanse yet. And season 5 and 6 are just the pinnacle of they're the high point. So super, super exciting. In addition to that, the last bit of news on The Expanse is on December 2nd, they'll have it online everywhere and in comic book stores. They are dropping a new comic book, Expanse comic book. It's a limited series, and it's going to be branching between the end of season 4 and the start of season 5, and it's going to be the adventures of Avasarala and Bobby as they work together to try to uncover what's going on with these weapon smuggling, whatever. And I'm not going to say where or who, because I don't want to give spoilers away for people that are just starting in on season 1 or 2 or whatever, but it's super, super interesting stuff. So that is real life science news and the Expanse news that we include because I love those fuckers. So whatever. Let's start with Arson. Your thoughts?
I'm just overwhelmed. Elite's doing awesome. Real life science is doing awesome. Space things everywhere. More in my veins, please.
Yes. Roy.
So when I saw that video of Earth from the ISS, and I love any of those, right? The first thing I thought was, come on, dudes. Portrait mode? Can't someone turn the phone sideways? And then I thought, you know what? They're in microgravity. Maybe they can't make it go into landscape mode.
Holy shit.
You just blew my mind there, bro.
Yeah,
Tweet.
yeah, I thought that.
The real science stuff, that actually blows my mind. I mean, 50 years ago, we were sitting here watching Happy Days and shows like that on, 3 TV channels, and now we're exploring the galaxy and finding exoplanets from our living room couch. It's pretty mind-blowing, really. And The Expanse, I love The Expanse, love the books, love the show, and I love the way they're doing this, the first 3 episodes, and then we're going to get an episode a week, which will build up that excitement, and that's something to look forward to every week. And dare I say, the way they're doing week after week after week, may that lead us right towards Odyssey.
Yeah, man. I got to tell you now, if you're an Expanse fan or if you're somebody who's on the fence about it, get on it now. You've got a couple of months, get caught up, because we're going to be covering it weekly on this show. So get in on it. Don't get left behind. Jan, your thoughts on real science news and The Expanse?
Dude, not gonna lie, I got so hella not sober in the last half an hour, so I'll keep it brief. The Expanse, if Elite ever got a TV show, I couldn't see it doing a better job than kind of Expanse has of setting that tone and like that kind of just general palette. I mean, they really did a fantastic job on it. I watched the first 3 episodes, kind of just couldn't stick with it. Watched it again, wasn't able to stop. It's really, really fantastic.
Yeah, I've heard that from a bunch of people where season 1, it took them like 2 or 3 tries to get in, but once you get past a certain point, then you're hooked for life.
That actually happened to me with Game of Thrones. I tried that a couple times, couldn't get into it, tried it again, and I was hooked for almost the whole series.
Right on. Epic.
Fuck, The Expanse is just phenomenal. Just I couldn't imagine anyone who loves and adores playing Elite not enjoying The Expanse. It's
beautiful.
Just everything we play. It's
Beautiful.
just everything you imagine. Even the Galnet articles, everything just ties in. Just the whole story of how it would all unfold amongst our own solar system with Mars, the Belt, Earth, everything. It's just phenomenal. I've watched the whole series 4 times now. Just cannot wait.
Yeah, I've done the
next
same.
series.
I've done the same. All right, guys.
More.
Right on. All right, guys. We're done with the real life science news, and everybody who knows the show knows that that's when we do the contest. Once real life science is done, the contest comes out. Tonight we have that the amazing opening song there was from Expedition Artemis by Miguel Johnson, his new album that just dropped, and we're going to be giving away a code for that tonight. And I think the way we're going to do it is we're going to make Jan pick whoever wins the code. So everyone, while we do sort of the next series, the next segment, which is going to be Roy Stories, we're going to go ahead and start that here in just a second. But I want you to put exclamation hand, so exclamation mark HAND in the chat. And while we play Roy Stories, Jan is going to just watch all these people that are typing it in there, and he's going to randomly or by whatever fucking means he wants to, he's going to pick somebody to win. Arson, go ahead and mute the mics and start us off on Mack Winston's story, part 2.
Next up in our Inara reading series is the continuing story of Commander Mack Winston. We pick up his story on March 3rd, 3302, titled The Smell of Fish. Price's Warehouse, Whirlage Terminal, LHS 3447. The 4 of us stood at the back of the dimly lit warehouse, surrounding a single cargo container. On one side, Cal and I, and on the other, Kelly and her ancient but new husband, Jason.
Jason, be a dear and get the lid off,
Kelly asked casually, leaning back against the warehouse wall. The old man unlocked the security panel, then undid the Deez's fasteners holding the top on. With a grunt, the apparently frail old man flicked the 30-kilogram lid off as if it weighed 1/10 of that. I wondered what other surprises he had in addition to unexpected strength. Cal and I peered over the side, seeing our faces reflected in the water. Some subaquatic lights were dimly illuminating the interior. A tangle of leafy green plants I couldn't identify slowly waved in the current made by a circulation pump. There were a number of rocks, and I spied what looked like a model castle, A number of beautiful iridescent fish darted in and out of the rocks and plants. An aquarium? I asked. I was at a loss to think why Kelly and Jason wanted us to smuggle this somewhere. What was the harm in an aquarium? Homeland spinefish, Jason said in his deep brogue.
An endangered species from homeland in Beta Hydrae,
Kelly added,
with the highly unusual property of laying psychedelic eggs.
I raised my eyebrows at this. Psychedelic eggs?
Yeah, you can make a type of caviar from these that apparently gives the smoothest out-of-body experience this side of Ridquat.
Cal put his fingertip in the water surface. A fish bit it. He quickly withdrew his finger and sucked the blood off the end. They're feisty wee buggers, Jason observed with a grin. Kelly continued explaining the fish.
The problem is, as soon as this was discovered, all of a sudden they were fished close to extinction. They aren't widespread on homeland. The Federation quickly put an endangered species control order on them, and now you can't just get them.
Can't they be farmed? I asked.
Sure, and that's probably what our buyer will do. But to cut the trade in endangered species, they are illegal to own in most systems. And of course, the Federation were very swift to ban the trade. What with their puritanical streak when it comes to anything psychedelic? You remember what they did in Kappa Phenacis.
That's our home these days.
Well, you know the score then.
How did you come across them?
Someone brought him in the other day. Abandoned cargo, apparently. He didn't know what he had.
Abandoned with the aid of a hatchbreaker limpet, no doubt, I observed dryly.
No doubt. I don't ask,
Kelly said with a faint grin. I knew her modus operandi from my days in LHS 331.
I bought them off him for a few hundred credits,
she added, her smile growing ever broader.
The fool.
I watched the fish darting around, and tried to read the expression on Cal's face through the reflections in the ripples.
Our buyer needs them swiftly. I'm prepared to pay 500,000 credits for a trouble-free delivery.
I looked up at Kelly and Jason and noticed both of them looked deadly serious. That's quite a sum for moving a single can. I can understand why you don't want it to go in some noob's sidewinder. Where's it going?
Cerebrov Station, Yakabogai. It's not far. Your clipper will do it in one jump.
750K, Cal suddenly said, completely deadpan, fixing his gaze on Kelly Price. I tried to hide my surprise. 500K seemed pretty generous, but 750K? Kelly opened her eyes wider.
You know, there are other commanders who will be chopping at the bit to take this straightforward job.
750K and not a credit less, Cal repeated. Your buyer will be offering, I don't know, at least $1 million, and it's us who are taking the risk. We get caught with an endangered species. Well, what do you think the feds will do to an Aconarian, an effectin discovered in Federation space, trading endangered species, ones that make drugs too? I imagine they'll throw away the key. And besides, time is not on your side. What do you mean, lad? Jason asked, breaking his silence. I mean, these fish are hungry. Homeward spinefish require special care, and you don't know how to give it. You need to get these fish to their buyer fast, or you won't have fish nor a buyer, and your buyer might take offense. I wondered how Cal knew so much about these damned fish. He didn't strike me as the ecologist type. Kelly looked at me.
You are the skipper. What do you say?
We're equal partners. If Cal's not happy, I'm not happy. And besides, we offer two things that no other commander's going to offer you.
And that would be?
Firstly, trust. You know I'll get the job done right. I never failed you in LHS 331, and I don't intend starting now. Secondly, I added, emphasizing the point by slapping 2 fingers on the palm of my other hand. Secondly, we bring the veneer of respectability to the operation.
Respectability?
I pointed out the East India Company logo on our jackets. The company has been generating a lot of good PR recently, even in the Federation. If the customs people see a clipper arrive unscanned, and we will arrive unscanned, trust me, they're probably going to ask questions. But they then see the East India Company logo and they think, Well, probably just helping out building that new station in LHS 3447. Kelly looked a little dissatisfied.
650K?
750K and not a credit less, repeated Cal without a hint of emotion.
We'll need to discuss this. Jason?
Kelly said, and the pair disappeared off into a small office a few meters away, closing the door after them. I looked back into the water. 2 of the fish appeared to be sparring in the depths. I looked at Cal's reflection. How do you know so much about homeworld spindlefish? Spinefish. I'll tell you all about it when we're underway, he replied, his face giving nothing away. A few minutes later, Kelly and Jason re-emerged from their discussions.
You've bitten us this time,
she said slightly grimly, I thought.
You win. 750K it is.
I reached out and shook her hands. Lovely doing business with you again, Kelly. Yeah, something like that, Jason muttered. We decided to repack the aquarium. We needed some kind of cover. I don't know what the penalty would be for getting caught, and I didn't want to find out. We'd load our hold with uraninite, as it would make it harder to get a good scan off. The container of fish would be buried in one of the uraninite containers, surrounded by radiation shielding. The mineral was in demand in Sebrov Station, and it wouldn't be at all unusual for a shipment of the stuff to turn up. I made a mental note to make sure we didn't unload the fish container by mistake when we got the commodities market to take the uraninite.
Right on. Well, this story is continuing to get going, and I know, Roy, we're gonna have more of Mack next week, or are we picking up? Or are we gonna dive into another person's narrative?
I think we need to see what happens with that delivery. You know,
Yeah.
did they make it?
Well, I didn't know if you were gonna do one of those, Dukes of Hazzards, cliffhanger where it's like, oh, next week we're gonna do Yuna Sakashiro, and then like the following week come back to Mack, or what. Like I just, as we go week to week on this, I'm just following along. Like, so just a little peek behind the curtains for you guys. I don't know what's coming ahead. I never listen to these on purpose. I just wait and hear them, as we go, and it's just like, oh, okay, all right, that's where we're at. So I like it that way. It's a little bit of mystery for me. All right, but so Mack, your shit is legit, and I can't wait to hear how this plays out. Let's see how this delivery goes. All right, Jan, you're up. Who is the winner of the album Expedition Artemis by Miguel Johnson?
I like the cut of your jibs, so Galagachamp. This one's going out to you there, Commander.
Galagachamp. All right, Galaga, get in touch with me after the show. I will give you the code and the redemption site. You have a brand new album, sir. I hope you enjoy it. It is legit. I've listened through like 2 or 3 times, top to bottom. The whole album is legit. I dig that shit, and I love the album art for it, man. And I love it ties into me very much so, inspired by this whole Project Artemis. We're going to the moon, and that the album art for it is reflective of that. And I dig the whole thing. And of course, you can't go wrong with Miguel Johnson's music. Miguel Johnson and Tokoso both are just incredible artists, and I always look forward to something new from them. So Galagachamp, you are the winner tonight. We will give away another one next week. So come in and join us live to get a chance at that. All right. Let's see where we're at in the show notes. We're up to the discussion topics. This is going to be legit shit. All right. I'm going to start off with the first discussion topic, which is going to be the expansion core. I had an idea. And let's just say, there's been some questions with regard to, credits in Elite. And I'm not exactly sold on the idea that like there's too much credits. Some people have said like there's too much credits in Elite, whatever. It doesn't, people have billions. It breaks the game, whatever. I don't particularly see that, because you have a situation where we don't have a real player market as of now. Like, we buy stuff from NPCs. So if Jan and I both go to buy a frameshift drive, and Jan has 80 billion credits and I have 50 million credits, if we're buying a frameshift drive that costs 30 million credits, It's not like the fact that, you know, if I've got 50 million, I've got enough to buy it with a little left over, and Jan's got 80 billion, he can buy it with a whole lot left over. It doesn't change anything. So I don't buy for a second that right now there's a problem with credits. But let's just say for a moment, let's grant the premise that what if there was? What if down the line they wanted to do more dynamic player markets, and as a result, Frontier is looking at credits in the game and saying, there's just too much. I try to think of ways, you know, there's different ways you could do siphoning credits out. Some of the ways feel punishing to people. They don't like it, and they're going to tell you they don't like it. And it's going to create hassle for you. And it's just not, let's say, optimal. So how can we find ways to siphon money out of the game that people will not feel punished by, will not feel upset about, but will be like, that's okay. I don't give a shit. I'm happy. I'm enjoying my purchase. So here's the thought: the expansion core. The thought is this: Frontier creates a coding, a zone, a zone that completely surrounds the bubble. This zone would be up to 40 light years from the nearest inhabited system, and like I said, go all the way around the bubble, and that will be labeled as the expansion zone. Any player can at any time go to Jameson's in Shinrarta Desra, provided that they're elite at something, but you know, come on, who are we kidding? They go to Jameson's, they go to a contact there, and there's a new contact added to the game that is the expansion core facilitator, let's say. Why not? I just made that up. You go to the facilitator and you put down a 500 million credit deposit on a license. Now you then type in the name of the station that you would like to build. You enter the location from the expansion zone only, not inside the bubble and not 80 billion light years away, but just in the expansion zone. Now, the planet that you choose, or the system, that you choose, has to be an uninhabited system. And you could say, like, I would like to have my station orbiting the third planet of system, X. And I want my station to be called Y. So I want my station to be called, Braben's Wish. And I want it to be in this location. Now, if you put down your deposit and you say, I want my station to be Huge Penis. Okay, they take your 500 million credits and say, well, fuck you. You can't name it something offensive. You can't, whatever. So you've lost your deposit and now go fuck yourself. So people won't do it as a for the keks because it's going to cost them 500 million credits. But let's say you name it something like, I want it to be, Harry Potter's, or, I want it to be Hogwarts, or I want it to be, I don't know, pick something that's like I want it to be Babylon 5 is the name of my station. Well, Frontier would say, okay, we're not going to take your 500 million credits because you're not naming it Huge Penis. You're naming it something that, like, you just clearly don't understand the rules. So we're not going to punish you, but we'll email you back and say, like, hey, dude, you can't have it Babylon 5. That's a copyright issue. Name it something else. And so whatever. But, so if you name it something offensive, you lose your money. If you name it something non-offensive that just they can't do, they'll tell you, nah, we need to work with you to make a more lore-friendly name. And you pick a lore-friendly name. You pay your 500 million credits, and that opens a window, a 30-day window for your license. At the end of that 30 days, one of two things will have happened. Either A, people, anyone, there's no limitation on what squadron they're in or what, this, they're that, whatever, on anyone on any platform donates up to 10 billion credits total. So for everyone involved. So if the hand wanted to do this and you say, hey man, we got like 15 guys that want to donate, okay, just subtract, divide 10 billion credits by 15 people, and that gives you your number that you need. And you can track it just like a CG. You can go in there, anyone can go to Jameson's and say, I'm donating, 1 billion credits. I'm donating 10 billion all in one, or I've got 200 million. I'm not a baller. I got a little, but you can, as anybody who's interested, anyone can track how it's going. And at the end of that 30-day period, either A, you have successfully hit the 10 billion credit threshold, or you haven't. If you haven't, well, sorry, you took your chances and you lost your money. But if you do, then okay, you get a license. And what that means is that at the following weekly tick after the 30 days is up, an art asset will show up that will be like from the expansion core. An art asset will show up in that system at that location where you want your shoebox station to be. It will trigger a player-led community goal. And okay, I want this shoebox station. Okay, fine. Now you have to haul out a bunch of shit out there. So what you spent for your 10 billion credits was somebody went out and surveyed it, and then they put a work crew out there. But you still have to bring them the materials. We need this much steel, this much composites, this much whatever, a whole list of shit that they give you. And you and your friends now have to, okay, it's me and my 14 friends from the hand. We're going to go out and we're going to truck shit out there to this location. If you successfully, with whatever time frame they give you, maybe Frontier says you got 30 days to truck it out there. Maybe they say you got 15 days, whatever they pick, whatever. But if you truck all the shit out there and you successfully complete your little player directed community goal, the shoebox station on the following tick, the shoebox station that you picked shows up there with the name that you gave it, the lore acceptable name that you gave it, and your player faction is the only faction that's in that system, and you control it, you own it. You are the owner of that entire system now, because the only way that this works is in uninhabited systems in the expansion zone. So there's no other station in that system. You are the initial, you're the settlers. And what you paid for and built it, so you are listed as native to that system. You can never be kicked out. Now you can lose it. Somebody else can move in under the BG rules because you are BGS rules, because you're within 40 light years of another place. If they want to expand out, they can get their ass out there and they can fight you through the BGS system for control over that system and take it over. But you're a native, you can never be kicked out because you did all the work to build the damn thing. So that's phase one of the idea. Down the line, let's say some more time goes down, you go back to Jameson's, you go back to that expansion core, and you pay another 10 billion credits. Again, same process as the last time, you and your friends. And you say, I want to upgrade this shoebox station to an Excella or an Orbis or a Coriolis station. And now, again, it triggers another CG, and you've got 2 weeks or 3 weeks or a month or however long Frontier, they work out the details. They're smarter than me. They work out to where it's like, okay, now get hauling a bunch of shit out there because you want to upgrade this thing, and you can build it up to be a big thing. So that's sort of the general idea. It's not in the bubble, so you cannot use this to screw over the existing BGS system. It takes a long time to build. It costs a lot of money. It gives people stuff to do. They're going to be happy to be able to expand it. It starts us down the road of Eve-like abilities to really blaze your own trail. You can go out there, and if Lave Radio or if Elite Week, if we make a private faction, which right now we're just doing the Dark Wheel, but down the road, if we decide to make a private faction and we decided we want to have, hey, out there in the expansion zone, we pick an area that nobody's paying any attention to and say, we want to like 3 or 4 star systems there. We're going to build our own little country out there. We're going to make our own mini bubble outside of the bubble. We're going to move out there. We're going to do all the heavy lifting and move out there and get it done. And, whatever, 6 months down the line, we've now spent a ton of money, siphoned that out of the what do you call it, economy. We've spent tons of time building this thing, and we're feeling awesome about the fact that we built our own little nation out there. And now, again, it's still 100% at the whim of the regular BGS rules. So we can lose it if we don't defend it. But it would give us players the opportunity to blaze our own trail like never before. We would be able to blaze our own trail as a country, as a collective, as opposed to just as a pilot. So yeah, that's the idea. Let's start with Roy. Your thoughts?
One of the first things that grips me about this idea is I think a lot of the discussion around, when there has been discussion around the number of credits in the game and certain things are too easy and all that, it kind of goes back to knocking things down. And this is a go big idea. It's like, fine, people got 20 billion. Some people have 20 billion or more in the bank. Let's figure out a big way to make that happen. Or we've got a bunch of people together who can through a variety of methods pull together that money. It's a go big idea, and I always prefer, just philosophically, that direction versus how do we pull the crab that's getting out of the pot back into the pot. Let's make a bigger pot. Yeah. And I also like that it uses existing structures in the game.
All existing assets, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a twist on the weeks or months ago discussions around, are we going to get base building in Odyssey? I kind of felt like the image of that was more like some kind of, I don't know, space engineers thing, like you plop a asset down on a planet or in space somewhere and poof, a station appears. This is more like, rather than, okay, you're going to build your own bespoke station panel by panel, you're going to get to use a shoebox station and then upgrade it. And it's all existing assets, and it's a way to play that out without having to invent entirely new mechanics. I guess the other thing is, I like that it uses the community goal infrastructure, because that gets around the issue of how do you get 20 people to manage money, credits. If you didn't have the community goal thing, you'd end up with some obtuse, bunch of spreadsheets and, okay, who came to the carrier and sold painite and I sold it back, and now we've got this balance, and so now we know how much people are putting it. The CG thing just sort of takes care of all of that. One thing I'd say, and maybe it wasn't immediately apparent to people in your description, is like your image here is, this doesn't have to be a station that's 40 light years away from where you already have ownership. This could be
anywhere in the expansion zone.
Yeah, this could be on the far side of the bubble, or if you're a group that's kind of, I don't know if landlocked is the right word in 3 dimensions, but maybe you're kind of in a bad spot, and it would take you forever to incrementally expand system by system out to the edge. This is where you can jump to the edge and sort of start fresh.
100%. And some might say, like, well, that's kind of overpowered that you can just move to a whole other area. Yeah, that's why you're spending 10 billion credits, because you're going there to the expansion core and you're asking them to go out and survey the area and to, build the thing that you bring the materials for. All right.
Well,
and
go ahead. I was going to say it's well within the lore of the game. I mean, we fly all around the bubble and well beyond it every day. So what's to stop someone from packing up and moving? It's not that big of a stretch.
Sure. Tweaked, your thoughts on this?
Well, it's definitely an intriguing idea. And first thing I should say is I also don't believe that there's too many credits in the game. There's plenty of things to do with those credits, but with this idea, 2 questions really pop into my head. Is the first is why would I want to move way out into where an uninhabited system that's not really close to anything and spend all that money to do that? The other question I have is, why would the community care enough to get involved to help with the community goals and stuff like that? I mean, if there's good rewards and stuff like that, then I can see it. But
not at all. So, okay, to answer your question 1, why would you want to do that? Because for the first time ever, you would have the power as a group to blaze your own trail, to say, like, so number 1.
Well, I kind of disagree with that, because I feel like
let me finish.
Okay, go ahead.
It's the whole idea is about like when they can't like it's basically like saying, well, I'm having a good time here in Europe. Why would I want to go to this new colony called the Americas and whatever? It's because you can set out to virgin territory that no one's at. You can direct where you want to go, and you get to name the station yourself, which is, yeah, okay, it's at great cost, but you get to 100%. And if you wanted to have like build, like I said, maybe this starts out slow. Maybe it starts out as a thing where it's like, okay, I'm the only one out here and there's nobody out here. But maybe look at little towns from, the 1850s or whatever, and then you look at it now and it's like, holy shit, it's built up all around. We could see neat ecosystems pop up that are completely player directed. And a year from now or 5 years from now, Frontier could say, we're going to expand the boundaries again. And I think we're explorers at heart, and the idea of moving out to a new boundary and expanding the bubble just seems cool to me. And as far as to your second question about like, why would the community care? Just to be absolutely clear, the community would not give a fuck about this. When I say the community donates whatever, I'm talking about the other people. So if OPIX wanted to do it, the reason why the community would care, only really OPIX and OPIX's friend would care. In general, the rest of the people would be busy doing their own shit. Don't expect anyone to truck stuff out for you because they get no reward for it. The point about this is it creates cool player-directed things that a group could work on as a group.
Right. Now,
So,
as the
go ahead.
game stands today, I don't know that it would interest me going way out in the middle of nowhere because I don't believe there's really that much to find out there. Now, a few months from now, when Odyssey drops and everything's a little different when you can start exploring, then maybe something like this would really intrigue me. I did have one other thought, though, as far as if we have, quote unquote, too much money, one way to start spending some money, I think, would be, say I have a fully grade 5 engineered passenger Python that I don't use anymore, and you don't. Why can't I sell my ship to you for 1 billion credits?
All right. Well, that is definitely an interesting discussion that we can get into on a whole different topic at some point. But yeah. All right. So you basically, what I'm hearing from you, Tweaked, is you're like, okay, yeah, that's cool, but I'm not really interested. And that's completely fine. No, not everybody has to be.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great idea, and I think Royce had it. Base building never intrigued me. That felt like Minecraft or Space Engineers, and that's not what Elite is. I don't want to push a few buttons and see a building magically appear in front of my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
This kind of thing definitely feels more Elite dangerous, so to speak, and it could definitely be intriguing to watch it happen. I just don't know that I would spend my money on it right away.
That's completely fine. Not everything is for everybody. Arson, your thoughts?
So I love the idea of expansion and colonization and things like that. The whole idea and concept about going in and kind of colonizing new systems, I actually kind of have my own take. I still want the same baseline ideas like using CG mechanics to open it up to people. I love the financial aspect of how you put in the money. But I was thinking when fleet carriers came out, and I don't fully recall, but I think in my video talking about them, one of the things that I proposed was a system ownership claim or pioneer rights or something along those lines when you are the first
homesteader.
Yeah, homesteader, pioneering, but some kind of first settlers' rights that if you have your fleet carrier in an uninhabited system first, nobody else is in there, but if you leave, somebody else can come in. If you haven't colonized it and you leave giving up that spot, somebody else could do it. Now, originally when I proposed that, I was thinking about the whole idea of having like passive resources generated by the carriers and then everybody, the claimant, getting the cut of that. But I like the idea of reapplying that to this idea. So you target the system by getting your squadron's assets there, Maybe it ties into the faction that you seed is the one that your squadron, who placed the carrier there, is pledged to, things like that. I think it would be really, really interesting. And I loved in EVE Online the whole idea of colonizing wormhole space. I would love to be able to, do that with the unpopulated systems around the bubble. And I really, really like the idea of a 40 light year limit from existing human colonization. So Frontier can kind of control where they let us spring up at first. I think that would be pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, if you ever come across something where just randomly within that zone, there's a thing that they have that it's like, nope, we have future plans for that. You could say, well, I want to go here. And they could just say, nope, not that one. They can, it doesn't cost you anything, but the answer to that is no, you cannot go there. And then you would say like, okay, well, how about here? And then they could say, yeah, sure. There's abilities for them to keep sort of a control mechanism on where they allow you to go, what it's called. And I'm really digging an idea that I just saw in the chat, and I'm kicking myself for not thinking of it originally. Someone in the chat said, yeah, man, and after you build the station, you could literally have a series of missions like an extra CG where you have to go around, like you go to the Explorer Core or Expansion Core, and they say, yes, here's a list of systems, here's a list of stations that have these people that are willing to settle in that station and be your population, be your workforce. So again, it's like back in the day, why there's so many Irish in America when, you had the situation. Yeah, you had the situation with the potato blight and the English just but being complete fucking dickheads to the Irish. You had a bunch of people that were like, fuck it, man, I'm gonna roll the dice and hop on this boat and fly out to there and stake my claim in this new spot and hope that shit is better. It could be the same thing. The expansion core tells you, hey man, go to these systems and like there's 50 people here, there's 100 people there, there's whatever people here, and you pick up a bunch of people and truck them into the fully finished station and populate your system with people. Like that could be so fucking cool. Let's start.
I actually just had a idea pop into my head too that would get me into something like this. Is what if once you got that base built and everything going, and maybe some population in there, all of a sudden it starts producing something for you. It could produce anything. If it becomes a factory that I can start picking stuff up and selling it and become like a business kind of thing, that totally could get me into something like that.
That could be awesome. Yeah. All right, Jan, your thoughts on the whole concept?
Well, BGS is illegal from a hand perspective. I just need to get that out of the way. It's their number one policy. But it's, it adds potential purpose to exploring, which is always cool because I love and I'll wander out in the void. But then when you get to your... And, while we're at it, where's the damn Cradle of Creation? That nebula? Super, super famous nebula. I think I just butchered the name. I'm already going on a vicious segue. I'm just going to... BGS is illegal. Kill the Thargoids.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Epic, your thoughts?
Fuck.
All right, well said.
Yeah.
I think we blew his mind.
Just apart from doing Dark Will stuff, just BGS isn't something we partake in that often.
I completely understand. I get it. It's not your thing. And again, this is... Go ahead.
It's 3:20 in the morning. I'm so fucking drunk by this stage. I really find it hard to keep up.
It's all good, brother.
It's so fucking late.
It's all good. I tell you what, let's go ahead and among the panel, anybody with final thoughts you've heard, because I mean, like I asked people stuff and then we had more people chime in with other ideas. Arson, Roy, Tweaked. Any other thoughts that you would like to add or counter arguments or anything onto this idea of an expansion core?
One other thing I'd add is, would this include planetary settlements? And at the moment, that might seem like why would you do that? But obviously, with Odyssey coming, maybe that would be as cool as having a shoebox station.
So the idea is no, this would not include planetary settlements because I would want it to be that you have to do the work to start with the shoebox and then upgrade to the larger station. But what I think would be a cool addendum to this would be after you get your after you get your spaceport, like you're upgraded to the Acellus or the Orbis or the Coriolis, after you get above maybe a certain population and after you get above a certain amount of like industry or a certain amount of credit, like you have to do trade and whatever to like level up your system presence. After you do that, maybe you go back to that expansion core and get yourself another license for a lovely little settlement. That could be cool.
Yeah, that could be very cool. The other thing you would have to be ironed out is, for example, if OPIX decided to do this and we end up out in some system that has no population right now, how does that become our home system per se, being as we already have a home system because we're a PMF in game? So they'd have to iron out the dynamics of that as well.
The idea of this is this. You got for free. Frontier gave you as a gift. This is your home system when you first applied and became a player faction. Okay.
Right.
This is not a gift. You're a native now in your existing one that you got for free. Frontier gives everyone who asks nicely one pretty much for free. This is, you spent 10 billion credits and did all of the work. So you're now a native to both factions because you built that from the ground up.
So now we have two home systems. You're starting to sell me on this.
Yeah, 100%. And you can never be pushed out of it. Now you can lose it. You can lose control of it, but you can't be pushed out of it because you built it. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the idea of having two home systems that I'm always protected in. I like that thought.
And maybe, 5 or 8, but I mean, that's a lot of work and a lot of money.
And it's a great way to expand because when Odyssey comes, exploration further and further out of the bubble is going to become a big thing, I think, even for somebody like me who never does that at this point. And this kind of thing, setting up a home base closer or further and further out, could really be an intriguing prospect.
Yeah. And I mean, let me tell you something. When people start looking around and say, hey, let me look in that 40 light year sort of coding around the bubble. Let me see where there are Earth-like worlds. Because we're going to, a year from now, 2 years from now, we're going to have Earth-like worlds. I want to own that system that has an Earth-like world, or I want to own, a system with a ringed Earth-like world and know that like maybe my settlement can go there. Like that would be awesome. And again, let's look at the fact that when I say, it's going to cost you 10 billion credits. Okay. 10 billion might sound like a lot, but if you got 20, 30 guys and you do a mining op, it doesn't take that long to grind out. You know what I mean? For 30 people, it doesn't take that long to grind out 10 billion. So it's a situation where it would be you'd be sucking a lot of money out of the economy. Like I said, B, you would be putting a lot of hours into it. Frontier would look at their player hours and say like, holy shit, man, all of these guys, we've got like 80 little or, 800 little settlements going up, not settlements in the term that they're using it in Odyssey, but I mean, 800 little outposts or whatever going up in these systems. That's 800 groups of players that are pulling together, that are working hard, that are happily putting in hours in the game, turning that little hamster wheel, but they don't feel punished. They don't feel whatever. They're super, super psyched because for the first time ever, they have the power to make their own shit. How awesome would that be? Really?
Yeah, that'd be great. And I'd even be fine with planetary bases or settlements even. Just give me something to slap my name on some planet and work my way out there as we go.
Beautiful. All right, it's already 10:30, so we're going to go ahead and we're just going to do the one community question for this week. And obviously, so the community question, you want to write in, share your thoughts on this, put it in the comments section as soon as the video, the stream ends and it's on the video thing. Write into eliteweek3306@gmail.com. Get on the Elite Week Discord and go into the channel that we have set up for it, the community feedback channel, and write in. I want to hear your thoughts on this. I want to hear why it won't work or why it will work or oh, you got to figure out this problem or that problem. Let's hash it out. Let's get into it. Let's, explain to me why I'm wrong, or explain to me why it's awesome, or explain to me why it's a great idea, but I didn't go far enough. There's more shit that you want to add in there. I want to hear your thoughts on this. So write in, and yeah. So now we move on to state of the game. I am completely fucking spent. I actually, we moved a bunch of stuff. We had more stuff to cover that we just didn't have time for, but I am spent. My state of the game is, the game is stronger than it's ever been. I'm super, super happy. I'm seeing people coming back here and there. I'm seeing, it's just activities lighting up. Everything is super, super awesome. And I'll say one thing, and this is going to lead into next week's discussion. The one little sort of in the back of my mind thing I'm a little bit worried about is this. They did fuck it. We're going to do one more discussion thing. We're just doing it tonight.
Let's go.
They did back-to-back CGs that are combat CGs for combat bonds. And I dig combat CGs. I think that's awesome. I think that's great. But I'm a little bit worried that last week's CG had a big new shiny toy and everybody got into it. This week's CG doesn't have a new shiny toy. And I'm a little tiny bit worried that the outcome of this CG, the participation level of this CG will not be as high as it was last time. And I don't want Frontier to take the idea that like, oh, well, that proves it. People are tired of CGs. Because if you do a trucking CG and a trucking CG and a trucking CG, people are going to get less and less sort of enthused. If you do combat and combat and combat, again, people are going to get less and less enthused. Now, I completely get and respect that they have a story and a narrative that's tied to it. And I think that this is, super interesting. And I get that. But I'm just saying, when you do a community goal, people are going to be focused on one of two things. They're either going to be focused on the reward or they're going to be focused on the activity. Now, obviously, if you keep bribing people with shiny new stuff, people will keep doing stuff. That is just a thing. But if you're not bribing them with shinies, which they're not here, they're not bribing you with shinies, then it's just the activity. And if you keep doing the same activity, less and less people are going to be interested. So how can you break it up? How can you make it interesting? Well, let's look at it. My idea is let's vary the community goals up a little bit. All right. So we've already done trucking CGs, a couple of them. We've already done combat CGs. This is the second one that we're doing in this. What else could we do with CGs? So here's some thoughts. Number one, Frontier has already done exploration CGs. A couple years back, there was that thing where the Empire wanted you to do, a CG to turn in your exploration data to them. And Salome was like, no, turn it in over here instead. So I think an exploration CG would be an awesome thing in that it would get people to go out and exploring and get a taste of that. And it would just mix it up a little. What else could we do? How about an SRV CG? How about you find a planet where there are two stations that are not all that far away from each other, and people get in to their SRV and they pick up a module that's just a 1-ton module, and they have to drive it though from A to B, and then you deliver that. That could be a cool thing if you have to go out for like a half hour, or an hour long drive to get from one spot to another. It could be a cool thing to give people an actual idea with regard to, land navigation or whatever. What else do we have? What about SLFs? What about they do a CG that requires you to go in an SLF and go out there and fire at certain targets or whatever? You can use fairly easy, accessible assets and whatever, and you collect points off of that. What about a CQC CG? What if they say like, hey man, you got to fight for our side. You have to go out there and join CQC and collect your points and turn in your points at the end of the week. You would get a fuck ton of people doing CQC for the first time ever. And we, maybe a lot of them are like, meh, I did my thing, I got my reward. But maybe some of them go, holy shit, I fell in love with this thing. And maybe CQC gets jumping like it never has before. Wouldn't that be fucking great? What about if they had an AX CG? What if they were to say like, yo, we need people out there, we need this many scouts, this many hydras, this many whatever, and like you got to go out there, similar to what the AXI did when they were like, bring us these hearts and that whatever. That was a rousing success. What if they did it officially in the game and they had an AX CG? That would be fucking awesome. What if they did a mining CG, but not the same mining bullshit that we've all done for cash for the last 2 years, where it's like, okay, void opals or low temperature diamonds or painite. Like, no, what if they were like, hey man, we need you to go out there and get muscovite and serendipite and rhodum splite because reasons. We have like a fucking, these stations, dude, the poor Marlinists that are being fucking oppressed by the Empire, they're moving out to neutral area and they need help. They need somebody to deliver a ton of alexandrite and rhodum splite and whatever the fuck so that they could build their new settlement or whatever, relocate or whatever. Jaunt to Jax. They did the Jaunt to Jax when they first found Jax Station and brought out repair stuff. Then they did Thanksgiving like a year later or whatever, where for Thanksgiving they brought out a ton of weed and shit like to party. What if we had some story reason why we had to do another Jaunt to Jax where it's like, man, Jax Station needs whatever. And like literally it wouldn't be like, well, I delivered, I went 8 times or whatever. Like, no, it'd be like all fucking week. It would be like, okay, I made a trip. I got out there with my stuff. But these are a bunch of CGs where Frontier could weave them into the existing story, because I agree. I'm seeing somebody in the chat that's saying like, I think Archer was saying like, I think people may be more invested in the story than you think. No, not at all. I'm absolutely a big believer that people are invested in this story. I think this story is fucking awesome. I just also would like to see Frontier use this awesome story to weave in some additional types of modes to do the CG so that they could highlight just how fun driving far in an SRV can be, just how fun SLF flying can be, just how fun CQC can be, just how fun and interesting different kinds of mining or an exploration slash, for all those people that have never been out to Colonia, this might drag them out there and maybe they get the bug and maybe, whatever. Like there's so many different modes that Frontier can incorporate. Please don't just keep going, okay, here's a trucking one, and then here's a combat, and then here's a trucking, and then a combat, and then a combat, and then a trucking. Like, be imaginative with this. You're doing A+ on the story. A+. Let's step up our game on how we decide to imaginatively use the CGs so that people can be rewarded for trying all of the cool shit you have in this galaxy and maybe falling in love with something they never knew about. Arson, your thoughts?
So I am all for imaginative CGs. I want to see something that I remember from the Horizons beta, and that was they were experimenting with things that they could do for CGs and events with the game, and they had put in at a planet this like sprawling 3-kilometer long wreck site of like some Type 9s, and there are 3 different ones, I think. I may be misremembering, so don't quote me on this, but there's several wrecks on the same planet at distances that were far, but reasonable enough to traverse between in an SRV. And it was really, really interesting. But it was kind of like a treasure hunt kind of thing. You picked up an item there, so you had clues, and then the first person to pick up the item and return it to the CG station and sell it to the commodities market basically like won the contest. I can't even remember the details of what it was for, but those kind of things where you've got a CG, people are trying to hunt it down, you have a certain amount of time to get yours turned in from the hunt, things like that. You could even go as far as to be like, oh, we're going to run a Dark Wheel CG for some lore questions, and we're going to have people pirate private couriers that only show up in certain states, like Civil War, and bring us that scientific research that's illegal, and those AI relics, and the Thargoid probes, and
So
stuff
you're
like
talking
that.
about a variation on the SAP 8 core game loop.
Exactly, yeah. It's something that's like, oh, private couriers have been spotted in Civil War systems. Like, just bringing that to light. It's not a new mechanic, but that's not something that the game has really ever said, like, hey, community as a whole, engage with this. And I think those kind of things would be a pretty awesome way to take it.
I dig it. Roy, your thoughts?
So the first point about having some variety in CGs, totally agree. That's one of the ways that BGS stays fresh. There's always a mix of missions to do, so you don't get burned out on one gameplay loop. I think the thing that's gone through my mind as we've seen back-to-back CGs is what's the cadence they're looking for here, and especially if there's unique rewards. One way to overdo it is, what I've seen in games like Destiny, where there's weekly raids, there's weekly things, and you want to get them done to sort of know that you've maxed out your progression in those areas. But then it starts to create kind of a fear of missing out, and it starts to feel like a job. I don't think we're anywhere near that in Elite. I'm just pointing that out to say, if you dominate people's attention and what they feel they need to do in the game to not miss out on something, and it packs up the whole week, that can start to go bad. So there's that to consider. I think as far as reasons to do things for CGs, a lot of us, I think, play this game with a kind of headcanon. I know I do, where you're kind of, making up little reasons to go do things, whether it's an exploration mission or doing things in a certain order and whatever. And that doesn't need a lot of structure. It just needs the faintest bit of structure, actually, to make it seem really cool. Like, I'm going to go out this 1,000 light years and go look at a star that I looked up in real life, because maybe there's something there, maybe there isn't. Like, that's a little fun little thing, right? So that's what some of this storytelling, I think, can do. And as far as having a shiny object, I think where that works best, like, for example, this missile rack, I'm glad it's not meta. I'm glad that this is a weird little thing. And okay, great, we'll be able to change the experimental. It still doesn't make it meta. I'd love to have a half a dozen or a dozen of these things 18 months from now that have built up over time, because what that lets you do is do some really weird niche builds. Again, maybe it's for your headcanon. Maybe it's for the one time 6 months from now where it matters that you've got a thermal effect on a missile. Who knows? But that's where those things can build depth. And it's not just having the fastest, bestest, mostest weapon. It's about having all these weird combinations that you can flesh out with unique designs.
Tweet.
Well, I kind of come at this a little bit of a different way in one regard. And first off, I'll say, yeah, absolutely. The more variety of CGs, the better. That being said, for the better part of, probably 2 years now, those of us that have played this game for almost every day for 2 years, we've had to come up with our own content, our own things to do. So just me personally, what I'm finding is we have now gone back to back to back CGs, if I'm not mistaken, 3 in a row. I mean, the one just ended
4
yesterday, and another begins, 4, and another just begins today. I can't even catch my breath. I've got mats to fill up on. I've got BGS fires to put out. I got things I got to do, so I probably won't get to partake in this one a whole heck of a lot, and I'm not complaining. Don't get me wrong, FTF. I love these CGs. I do think, though, there could be a point of oversaturation where people are like, we know there'll be another one next week. I don't really have to worry about getting in on this one. That being said, if they want to ensure people getting out there and doing this stuff instead of a shiny new module, a shiny new missile rack or something like that, one way to get us all out there, and I can almost guarantee anybody would be out there, make one of the rewards to fill up my grade 5 mats. Or fill up a few of them or something.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they ever made rewards of pharmaceutical isolators, you would see the fucking servers set fire. All right, Epic, your thoughts on variation of CGs? Something, how'd you like to see an
Immediately,
CG?
yes, please give me all of the pharmaceutical isolators. We'll do anything for pharmaceutical isolators.
We'll suck dick for pharmaceutical
We'll
isolators.
immediately suck dick for pharmaceutical isolators. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Coming from an AX squadron, AX point of view, yeah, I feel there should be more AX related CGs, solo Cyclops, go in and kill a basilisk, and get rewards for doing so. Just get anyone into that, because the greatest threat to humanity in the bubble is the Thargoid War. There was 14 systems on fire in the bubble for a while there, and it looked like the Goid War was coming directly towards Sol, and it just kind of petered out, and then headed toward the Witch Head Nebula, and we fought out there. Had all the damaged stations, and also a massive shout out to Operation Ida for repairing all of the stations that were attacked for months and months and months. Massive shout out to them. We fought in the systems, just something to point people toward AX and the big threat. I mean, you've also got the club, and you've got everything that's going on with the Galnet stories now. But there's other threats. There's end game content where you engineer your ship to the max to be able to take on a Thargoid. It's
You hit the mute button there on accident while you were talking.
Well said, Epic.
I don't know how I did
well
that.
said.
How much
But I
did
dig it.
miss?
I dig it.
Just solo something. Just go toward the AX combat. The biggest threat toward the bubble is Thargoids. 14 systems were attacked.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Jan.
Okay, so I've emailed Frontier and mentioned on several occasions that black holes are pretty amazing, right? They're pretty spectacular, the
Hell
lens
yeah, they
flare
are.
and all that.
Agreed.
Fighting and murdering aliens is also pretty awesome. I think you would agree.
Yep.
Combine the two, and just give me a good reason why not. Give me a good reason why we shouldn't have permanent, perhaps, AXCZ around the black holes in the Pleiades Nebula. There's one at Maya, one at HR 1185, I believe. There's loads. They're not hard to find. And AX combat in that lens flare, it would just be such a spectacle of what Elite has to offer on one hand, of its, representation of space and stuff, and then awesome Thargoid combat as well.
The majesty and beauty of the most sort of amazing things in the galaxy, and then also shooting shit in the face. I dig it.
Exactly.
Beautiful. All right. State of the game is amazing. Couple thoughts I'm going to leave you with. Number one, people have been asking about this is very cool. These new stations. We got all these 10 new stations that Frontier gave us, this last week. We have new stations for tritium. No, we don't. Those new stations have, 20 tons of tritium in them. We got new stations for something, and I don't know what it is, but I fucking dig it. I like the idea that, there's some I don't buy that they gave it to us for tritium, because they're not putting tritium in it. They gave it to us for a reason. The story is happening. The galaxy is changing, and I'm interested to see what kind of sneaky shit they're up to. And then the last thought, and I'm going to leave you with this little thought to blow your fucking minds. Ready? We know that in Odyssey, we're going to have the ability to get out of our ship and to go running around and do missions. We're going to have the ability to, get out of our ship and park it or whatever and go take a taxi somewhere if we want, right? Apex Interstellar. Cool. So up until now, we've never been able to leave our ship if it has anything in the cargo bay. Okay, I want to go I want to drop my T9 and I want to hop into my, what do you call it? My boomer. I want to drop into my little DBX and go fly around and do some. Oh, I can't because it won't let me out of my T9 because I've got 500 tons of shit in there. Guess what, folks? Think it through. If you can land now, it's your T9 with 700 tons of shit in it and get out and take a taxi somewhere. If you can hop into another ship somewhere else or whatever, that means you just got free storage. Prove me wrong. Roy, your thoughts on state of the game?
Oh, too much to do. I mean, in a good way. I got so many things I got to do. BGS, turn the wheel. I'm out here mining because I bought too many Gudamaya holes. Now I'm broke.
Can't
so
have
I got to
too
fix that. Yeah, it's all good. I'm loving it.
Beautiful. Arson,
State of the game.
I just got a mirror. There's so much to do, and the game feels alive again. I can't get over how happy that makes me. Like, I know that the hiatus was needed, but man, am I happy it's over. And as it was said earlier, there's almost too much to keep up with, and as a result, it actually feels almost like Elite has a real news cycle again.
Fuck yeah. I love the idea that there's too much to keep up with. Pick what you want then. Don't worry about it. Just jump in and, well, I can't get it all. That's okay. Do whatever, because it's if you're talking about I have too much to do or too little to do, I'd rather have too much and then just pick what I want. And maybe I'll take a week off of CGs and come back next week. Or maybe I'll take a week off of doing something and come back whatever. And, All right, Tweet. Your thoughts, state of the game.
Real quick on those 10 stations not having tritium, my thought is that's Elite being real. They can't produce that tritium overnight. It's going to take some time to build it up. They're just being a space simulation.
Possibly.
State of the game is it's never been better, in my opinion. The story is fantastic. I feel like I'm missing something whenever I'm not logged into the game. Having too much to do is a great problem to have. And I would like to throw a real quick shout out to Commander of the Texarsis from OPIX, whom has in the last couple of days begun a in-universe news blurb about 2.5, 3, 4 minutes long, just about the happenings inside Open Pilots Initiative and around the galaxy, and it's very cool in universe. And I just thought I'd like to thank him on air, and I'm just thrilled with State of the Game. Love Elite Dangerous and everything FDev's doing.
Hell yeah, man. That's awesome. I want to look into that stuff with Texarsis. Link it for me. I'm going to get into that. Epic, your idea on State of the Game. Your thoughts?
State of the game. Well, they might the GALNET articles. Everything has come to life, as someone said before. There's a lot to do. There's a lot to look into. The whole lore is coming back to life again. State of the game and AX wise, there needs to be more. There needs to be some sort of
Halloween.
I know.
I said the wrong one.
A constant AX zone, something just to stop having to hunt signal sources over and over and over again. They just need to give something back to the AX community. I mean, they're hardcore, all of them.
100%.
We just something. But the GALNET articles are great. The storyline's great, and the lore is great.
I guarantee you that Frontier is well aware of the AX community's thoughts and feelings, and that good stuff is coming. Yawn.
Better, Mr. Guy, friend, buddy, because I've been telling these guys every Wednesday, guys, it's literally like, it's tomorrow.
Yeah,
You're going to wake up and we're going to be like inundated with targoids. Systems being like, oh, you need to save us, bro. We have like loads of gold and stuff. Come loot our system. So it's been pretty crazy. Like I've been played with a bit, but I'll believe you this time. Okay, Kai, I believe you this time. It is really, I think everyone's covered it beautifully. The game's never been more alive, honestly. Like the recent zones, organic PvP in the conflict zones, like that stuff is awesome. It's been really, really great. And I am cautiously but definitely still optimistic for what there is to come. And regarding AX, I mean, being able to do the scout instances, really significantly marginalizing any of the glitches you're going to have, and the mega ships, it has been pretty dope. Before that, we were like, distress calls. There's loads of stuff dotted around, but yeah, we do want more stuff to blow up, please, at Black Ops, please.
Beautiful. All right, guys, I'm going to leave you with the standard: be excellent to each other. Roy, say goodbye to the beautiful people.
Fly casual, but stay dangerous, my friends.
And stay thirsty. Arson, your thoughts. Your goodbye.
My goodbye. But I'm not ready to say goodbye. I want to stay.
Fair enough. Epic. Say goodbye to the beautiful people.
My usual peace the fuck out and fly dangerous.
Right on. Tweak, say goodbye to the beautiful people.
I hope everybody enjoyed the show tonight and have some fun in Elite Dangerous, because there is so much for you to do out there.
Hell yes. I've got a brand new 50-inch ultra-wide monitor that's waiting for me right outside my office. I couldn't
get it all set up because I just picked it up today and I had to get ready for the show notes. But as soon as we're done, I'm going to put that fucker together and it's going to be awesome. Yawn. Say goodbye to the beautiful people.
Well, thanks a million for the great show. Thanks for having us on. We'll see you on the next one. And Brit's out. Fly dangerously, Commanders.
Beautiful. Arson, play us out.